Where is the link for this beauty? Let me send the link. I've got the Zoom call open, family. I've invited Mark so far, but there was another gentleman who responded, so I'm down for bringing him on too. Both of them are from Saskatchewan because, the men are out west in large degree. I mean, when you consider the population differences, I think there's probably more Patriots in Ontario because I think the population of Alberta even is like that of Toronto. But let's see, what do I need to do here? I want to send the stream to people, so I'll click on YouTube. I really hate this. I don't want to be using this crap, guys. I don't want to be using this. Then I'll check the chat and see, maybe we have one or two already, but we won't have many until I get this done. Smoking weed and doing this is, not the smartest. One or two. It's not the smartest thing to do. Okay, it's on, fam. Boom. Okay, this should do it. We should have 3 people watching in no time, so we'll see. Oh, I'm not going to switch to that. I want to make sure what I'm on here because I'm not going to switch. I'm talking to Wayne, trying to get Wayner involved, but I think he's chickening out. I think he's being a bit of a chicken. No, he's not. He just needs to schedule it. He's not down with the last minute stuff, and he wants me to do it earlier. It's never going to happen, Wayne. Now, you got to remember I'm walking a tightrope with Wayne here because he disagrees and he gets very disrespectful. Like, he's got this age thing where he thinks that he's older than me, so he, gets cred. No. Yeah, that's a small roach. You don't get cred in this wheelhouse, pal. Not for just being older. I like him. He's wise. I'll defer to his knowledge, but I'm sorry. I know people that are 80 that have never learned a thing in their lives other than how they live each day, day to day, so. And there's other aspects of life that I totally suck in because I've taken so much time to read about shit that maybe not everyone's interested in. But we'll see. So, Mark, we're live. Maybe you see this. Maybe you're busy doing other important stuff. But if you were joining just to have a debate with Wayne, it looks like he's not going to make it. I'll go through the messages with Wayner here. Let's see. I won't show them to everybody. But the pertinent message from Wayne is 7 p.m. He can do it. He says he's dodged bullets. So he's served in the military or just a really shady character that was maybe a collections guy for the mob. I told him to shut up earlier just because, I don't know, he was kind of trying to control the tone. Like, look here, young feller. He was only 16 when I was born. Where I come, I still talk to kids 16 years younger than me like they're adults. I won't pull the card of it. Look, I know we disagree, but technically I'm older than you. No, it's not going to happen, Wayne. The stakes are too high for us to just agree about everything and, we'll agree to disagree. That was happening with my in-laws, who are amazing people, right? They're I got to stop watching that. It's so distracting, but I think it's where the live chat is. Is that what I do? I can watch live chat on the actual thing. I don't know if there's one person watching. Hi, one dude. Or chick. But yeah, we got another guy too that sent me a message. I'll send him a link if it gets too stale, just jamming solo and there's no interaction with the chat interaction. But and there's no one joining. I think people do this regularly on podcasts, don't they? They stall for time. I've done tons and tons of streams with my buddies, with my little local cluster of internet, but I've never really paid attention to the chat for them. I just find it so distracting sometimes. If you're trying to have a conversation with someone and there's 30 different combos going on, but I think when I see Rage or someone jam with the chat, I'm like, this is entertaining. He can just kind of surf on the chat. But it looks like I'm going to click on this dude. His name is Les Milk. So I think he wants less milk as a message to the CPC, but we'll find out. Let's give him this link. I've got a Zoom call, but anyone that knows Zoom, and most of us do because we're living in the virtual nightmare realm, Zoom, if you don't pay for it, cuts off after 40 minutes. So we got little Mr. Alarm here, little Mr. Plug-in. If I want to call Wayne, if Wayne gets his act together, young man, if you get your room in order, as Jordan Peterson says, we can do this. And then it'll be more interesting because it's fun to disagree with people, guys. I'm not doing it because I don't want to listen or, I've already made up my mind and no one can change my mind. It's fun because the taboos that the left has sold us that you don't talk politics. Look, we're at the water cooler here. Would you keep your politics to yourself, pal? It's like, well, you know what? When they want to put us in Orwellian freedom cages and just kind of shun us from society if we don't kind of toe the line, then yeah, I think we have to talk about it, Doug. And I think we have to agree to disagree later. And then how about in the meantime we save our country? Because it's really that simple, guys. It's PPC Patriot Jam Night. I just was reminded of the topic, so that helps. It's really simple these days. If you don't jump the first hurdle, and the first hurdle is don't fucking dare force us to inject ourselves, you creeps. We don't trust you with anything. And we shouldn't. That was the natural state of affairs when you have a strong society that doesn't need a government babying them. Hence, why is multiculturalism so valuable to these people? They can reach out and bring immensely different cultures to our culture in huge numbers with no care or consideration to go, how many can we take in at a time that will assimilate to our country each year? Because I assume that countries having stuff in common and us all kind of doing things a certain way protects an identity and makes us get along with each other better, and you don't bring like the cultural wars that these people had, the Khalistanis versus the Indians. Looks like I'm a fan of the Indian people, and I'm a big fan of the Sikhs as a whole because they have a brave history in the Allied forces. So they've contributed for the same causes we have. And I mean, we gather under the monarch's banner and we do the will of the Commonwealth. And I know it's awful, and I don't know what the QAnoners are telling you about the Buckingham Palace being boarded up, and oh gosh, oh man, it must mean everyone's on secret trials replaced with doppelgangers. Like, they really wanted you to believe that we were talking to doppelgangers of people that were locked up and on trial and about to be shot for treason. That's how confident the QAnoners were. I'm glad they've changed their profiles. I'm glad they've gotten a little quieter, but truth be told, they're also amazing people. They're prone to fantastic answers for fantastic events, but they're amazing patriots too. So what do? When you grade a person, you value how useful they are to your society and its general continuing as a free society. Like, let's just maintain basic freedom. Who the hell from CPC, LPC, or the Green Party or NDP? Who can keep a free society together by jumping the first hurdle that is, we're not getting fucking injected by force, pal. And you should actually, if you care about freedom, start passing laws telling businesses they can't force us out. But because they're not doing that, you should take it as a hint that they're colluding with businesses. That they are colluding like they do every year at these, World Forums of the Americas, World Forums, all these groups of politicians and Fortune 500 getting together to decide what the little guy's going to do with his life. We don't want you to decide what to do with our life. Go enjoy your money. The capitalists aren't rebelling at you coming to your house with like tiki torches that you would always misinterpret as white nationalism after this conditioning. Is Wayne talking to me again? By whatever means, okay. Why the hell do you think I engage with you? A young Canadian father. I don't know what this guy is. He's an age elitist here? Get over yourself, Wayne. Over yourself, Wayne. Can I call you right now? Can I call you, Wayne? Let's discuss it, buddy. Get it out over the airwaves. You always get your say with me, and you know that. I know I can ramble, and I always give you equal time. And you will always end it off. Anyone that I talk to, maybe this Doug idiot that's been going at it with Dark Horse. But I don't want to, we don't need to bully these people. We're just so used to being the only one with the right opinion versus 10 liberals on Twitter that we always respond, or I always do, when I see oh my God, he's saying bullshit to my internet buddy. But I don't think I need to mess with people. I mean, Dark Horse was ragdolling this guy. Maybe I'll read that. That could be an interesting thing to do. Just read Twitter beefs through this. I don't want to show them because I'm going to click back and forth. I can show the window browser, but I don't want to... just checking if Mark joined Zoom, but I assume he'll speak if he does. I'm putting the odds at Mark Friesen joining, the big dog. 5% if Wayne's not showing, because I imagine he has a lot of stuff to do, but we'll see. Getting messages. Get over yourself, Wayne. Can I call you right now? He's giving me a simple no, guys. Just a simple no. Get your act together. Pick up a damned landline like the dinosaur you are and robocall me. Okay, that's a good dig at his Matrix favorites. The liberals always report on their robocalls, but never the robocalls that liberals do. Let's see. I'm just trying to taunt him because the guy gets personal with me. I'm sorry. Like, you see his tone degenerate into the gutter on Twitter, and I'm fine with that because he's a man and he debates us. He'll do it live. I mean, the last stream he did it live. But I think it's time for Les Milky because we've given him a chance, Les. I've been, like, saving spots for people, but it's just Nana Visitor is probably going to join up later. That's Major Kira from Deep Space Nine for any nerds that any Star Trek nerds. There it is. I'll give you the link here, Les. Less is more. Less is more than one. So what do we got? 3 watching. Who are you and what is your business here? I guess I don't need to write it if I'm saying it, but there is a delay, isn't there? Worker. We could taunt Doug. That's too petty. Where are all the Patriots tonight? Where are all the PPC jammers? Because I guess we don't need to sell PPC on anything. Maybe I should just be dedicating this to liberals. Look, there's a free injection, safe injection site tickets for sale. I don't know how I'll bait them in. Les, you have the link, buddy. Join it up, bro. We'll see. And James is cool, too. He's one of the dudes that regularly retweets me, and I retweet him. We're like a little double dragon of retweeting. But it's nice when you find ideological buddies on Twitter and you form your own little... Because I'm just going to keep the name the same, guys. If I'm ever banned from here for whatever reason, I'll just go Transplender on Gab. And then if that's taken, I'll say Transplender 1. And then I'll incrementally go up the number system until I achieve what's called account critical mass. But I could surf this news stuff. But what are we talking about tonight, guys? I'm better when I'm prompted and I don't have to do logistics for lining people up. That's you, Jess. I'm talking to Jess. I need like a Robin to Howard Stern, to poor man's Howard Stern, of course. But I'm not going to be a media mogul. But when I stream, it's nice to pretend you are. No, everything's pretty quiet. Everyone goes quiet at game time, I guess. But we're seeking the public's assistance in locating a 2015 black Toyota Tacoma truck that was stolen from Milton. Uh-oh. There you go, Milton. That's, what is that, northwest of Toronto? I'm not that familiar with the west side because once you cross Spadina, that's too far west for me. Everyone turns into a damned hippie. Stolen from Milton with a 4-month-old puppy named Hudson. Don't give it the name. The puppy was probably going to run away, and now the guy's just going to go, Hudson, come back. License plate is AY88007. Please contact police. And he retweeted. They really want this puppy. Chris Body is a puppy lover because he retweeted, can you help? I would just hit retweet in this one. Oh, you can call me. 30 minutes max. But I can't talk about Fantasia or Star Wars. Oh my god. Les, you can still join in whenever, man. Maybe I'll let you run the table on Wayne here and teach him how to be a mammal. I'm calling you, Wayne. Because, I need someone. It's this solo jam thing is okay, but it's not great. Oh, there's my buddy Ross. Ross, you can join too. We can just surf together. But I'm going to bring in Wayne, or I'm going to actually phone him because he's a dinosaur. And he was trying to pretend it was because he wants to hide from the government. But no, your opinions are all completely in line with what the government wants the worker bee to think about. But I'm going to call you. I'm going to put you on speakerphone. And it's all kind of tongue-in-cheek, so don't get super upset, dude, because you'd really message me emotionally. Hopefully this audio is good. Ross, say something in the chat if I need to do something magical to make the phone sound louder. He'll answer. He's a good guy. Wayne's a good guy. He's going to be very important to the PPC cause once he learns how to, come down from the tree canopy and be a primate like the rest of us, and not a pterodactyl dinosaur sitting up in the brush, to misuse Amazon terms. Wayne,
Alex.
How are you?
Well, I'm slightly annoyed with you, man.
Of course you are. Why wouldn't you be? You're very emotional, but you're passionate too. I think you're a favorite. We've had one show, and you were the favorite.
Of course. I mean, what I say makes sense, man. And I love Canada, and I love Canadian children, and I love...
Don't say you love Canadian children in this day and age.
No, I just want Canada to be back to the Canada I had when I was a kid.
So, where do we differ on that? I've got a boat. You are standing in a smoldering wreck of a ship. That's like the big difference, man. Pardon?
Alex, I'm going to explain something to you, okay?
You've got authority fallacy, Wayne.
No, come on.
You always go back to I must be so smart. You must listen to your mentor. And I do have a ton of respect for you. More than most people, Wayne, I respect you.
Dude.
Thank you. You called me dude. You're getting younger.
Yeah, I am getting younger. I want you to listen to an analogy here, and maybe because last time we talked, I talked about the Pareto theorem.
Yeah.
So I want
the 20%, 80%, right?
Yeah. So I want you to listen to something. Okay?
Well, I can watch the replay of the last one if you're going to say the damn theory again.
No, I'm not. I'm
okay.
going to give you an analogy that's a little easier for everybody to understand.
All right.
Okay? You got a landlord that's raging on you.
Mm-hmm.
He's angry. You've lost your job. Okay?
Yep.
You can't get laid.
Okay.
Your car insurance is through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
A cop has given you tickets and you gotta go to court. So there's 5 problems. Okay?
Yep.
5 problems right there. Is the landlord an asshole? Is your boss an asshole because he fired you? Are the women assholes because you can't get laid? Is the insurance company an asshole because your costs are through the roof? And is the cop an asshole because he gave you a ticket? 5 problems. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetical problem, you're driving a beater car. So, you lost your job because the beater car wouldn't start and you couldn't get to work on time. Your landlord is raging because your beater car is dripping oil in his parking lot. You can't get laid because no woman wants to go home with a guy driving a beater car.
That seems very fatalist of dudes. I quit. My car's not good.
Shut up. No, you said you'd listen to me, man.
I'm listening. Go on.
You cop gave you a ticket because you're driving a beater car.
Okay.
Okay? And your car insurance has gone through the roof because you had bald tires and you did a rear-end collision with somebody, and, that's the way it is. So these 5 problems that you have,
Mm-hmm.
okay, are directly related to driving a beater car. So what you need, the solution is a new car. You need a new car. That's Pareto's theorem. And I totally get where you guys are like, well, we got too much immigration, we have globalization, we have all these problems. But the root cause is the Canadian political system is a beater car. And you know what? You're trying to solve the problems. You're trying to say to your landlord, no, sorry, my oil dripped on your parking. Sorry, CBC should be defunded. And what I'm saying is the problem can be solved by getting a new car. Okay? That's Pareto's theorem. I was trained in it. I built factories, man. Okay? I built factories.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Huh?
Okay, I love your theory. There's nothing I disagree with about it. I just think you're misapplying the variables into that theory. And the correct way to apply that theory is go, liberals will blame their parents why they can't go to work. Liberals will blame the world for not accepting them as trans. Hey, you guys wanted attention yesterday, and now today you're making it illegal to not give you attention? So you're applying the theorem with different variables than I would. I would agree that, yes, we need a new car. We just disagree on how to procure the new car. So it really is no disagreement. Your theory is great, but is totally irrelevant to our argument. So how's that? Because I think you are completely concrete in your assumption that the best way to win is going with CPC. If that's true, it might be true, dude. I've invited anyone that disagrees with me, will talk to me at any moment of the day. I'll tell my wife, I'm like, honey, someone's disagreeing. They want to actually debate this out. Can I go talk to them? It's just, okay, make sure you take the garbage out before you go down.
Alex, I tweeted earlier, okay, and it's really simple. My father lives in Cochrane.
Okay.
Okay.
Where is Cochrane?
He votes every year for the NDP.
Mm-hmm.
And every year I say to my dad, how does it benefit you to be on the side of the loser? Every year, my dad, he was a union man. He votes for Charlie Angus of the NDP. Okay?
Yeah, of course a union guy does that.
Yeah, and every year, and I actually tweeted earlier about Ernie Eves, and I'll touch on that, but we knew Ernie Eves was going to win in a landslide.
Yep.
We knew it.
In the time of the dinosaur, no one was wiser than Wayne.
No. Stop with the dinosaur stuff, man.
I don't mean your age. I mean your pre-thinking of when Trump happened. I mean, once Trump happened, you kept saying, Marco Rubio, Nikki Haley. What we're going to do is tweak the platform to get more Latinos on board. What we're going to do is this. All I know about is pre-Trump asteroid.
Alex, no tirades tonight, okay?
It's in my DNA, brother.
Okay? So my dad, my father, every year, even when we knew the Conservatives were to win in a landslide.
Yep.
We knew Ernie Eves was going to win. My own father, voted NDP. And I looked at my dad and I said, how does it benefit you to be on the side of a loser? Mm-hmm. How does it benefit you?
Yep.
So my my dad, whatever, Northern Ontario, Cochrane, voted for the NDP. And then they're sitting there and they're like, holy shit, we voted NDP. We can't get government contracts. We can't get any government support. And it's like, you voted against the guy who won. Now, earlier tonight, I tweeted to you and Grizzly. I take it he's not on the phone tonight.
No, he might. And it's not the phone, Wayne. People generally click on links in this century and they get emails and stuff. But you're only 56. That's why I make fun of you, because you're only 56, but you act like you're Rodney Dangerfield and you can't get no respect from technology.
No, here's the reality. Bernie Eves won the premiership of Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting at home. I have a house in Canada. It's in Parrystown, Muskoka. It was announced that Bernie Eves was going to be holding a victory celebration at Grandview Resort in Huntsville.
Yep.
Okay?
Hold on, 1 sec. Just pause. I like this. Granville Resort. You're gonna yeah. In 1 second. Les, if you don't mind just muting for now, buddy, because I don't want kind of no. You're fine. I told you to join. Like, you're more than welcome. But I just want Wayne to not feel like there's some sort of gang up pylon going on. So me and Wayne are going to talk. If he wants to stick around afterwards, he's welcome to. But I want him to get his piece out, get my piece back, so he finds out what a good piece looks like.
Okay.
All good.
Cool.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
So
okay, keep going.
Bernie Eves wins the Ontario premiership in a landslide.
Mm-hmm.
I did not support him. I did not have a sign on my lawn.
Okay.
But that night, I threw on my very best $700 suit. I went over to Grandview. I walked in. I grabbed a glass of champagne. I rolled into the room. I snuggled up. I said, congratulations, Ernie. He and I had a drink together, the Premier of Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He thanked me for my support, which I didn't even give. He gave me his card, and I had an in. I had a connection with the Premier of Ontario for the next 4 years. Do you understand? Being on the side of the winner makes sense. Match will lose. Being on the side of the loser puts you outside of the private party, screaming at those inside.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't do any good.
Yep.
And that's just basic fact for you, boy. Okay?
Okay.
That's the way the world works.
That's the way the world did work before the asteroid hit. But can I talk, or is there more to this?
No, your turn, man.
All right. My turn is, you just described a story that I value greatly once we can agree on the major premise that populism is the answer, not establishment cronyism, because human institutions rot over time. And so over the years, all the people and the Ernie Eves and all the people you've been watching have been taking bribes from the private sector, so they've become unable to be the ones to clean us house of the private sector. So populism, regardless of your objections or how life was in Care Bear Town before No Heart decided to unleash Beasley and the chick, whatever her name is, okay, times were great. But like, No Heart is attacking us. And do you remember this? Were you watching this with your children when this came out? Care Bears? You remember this, right? This is a good one. You said no. Dude, I'll read out the messages. You said no never-ending story analogies. And what was the other one? Star Wars?
Yeah. No,
so that was my secret weapon, was bringing out Care Bears. So No Heart attacks Care Bear Town. And you're in the boardroom with the Care Bears going, how do we defeat No Heart? The real answer is we all stand together and shoot our bellies at it, okay? Your belly would have a golf cart and a beverage cart on it because you live in Florida while lecturing me on how to live in Mad Max world. And I'm not, that's an unfair objection, Wayne, because you're a Canadian and you've taken bullets for Canada. Hopefully it was for Canada. Hopefully it wasn't for like a nefarious Asian triad gang that you were a mercenary for. Can I say that you were in the military?
No, I don't want to talk about why.
Okay, you took bullets. You never said you were in the military, so this your secret safe with me. You were a triad enforcer.
No,
and you're of Asian heritage.
I said I've been shot at. I have had bullets fired at me in the defense of Canadian freedom, and I'll leave it at that. I don't want to.
That's fine. That's great. I think the RCMP are on stand down now. They're not going to come looking for you. Even though Bill Blair will come looking for me because I've said Proud Boys are a great group. I've never had contact with them, but I do think the idea of them is absolutely amazing in a completely defensive posture. We can probably argue about that because you watch Matrix News. I mean, if you read the Kinsellas, they've given up the Proud Boys. They feed the crocodile hoping it will eat them last. So what I was finishing with the Care Bears analogy, Wayne, is you were saying, no, in my day, we didn't even need to shoot our bellies at No Heart. We would just walk around and I would talk to Sporty Bear. And I'd say, Sporty Bear, isn't life good here in Care Bear world? And then Sporty Bear would go do his own thing over here. And they would vote for the parties that best suited them. And I'm telling you, Wayne, we all need to hold hands and we all need to Care Bear shoot right up at No Heart. And I do have a browser I can share and we can watch Care Bears. Just so you get that reference. But I assume you would have been a 30-year-old taking care of your kids when that show was on.
Alex, I said no ranting, and I said...
No ranting?
I don't care about Care Bears. No, seriously.
You don't care about Care Bears. You're a moral monster.
No, I don't care Care Bears. You know,
right.
and yeah, I was fired at. I have dodged bullets, okay? So, talking to me about dodging bullets.
Wayne, I love you because you talk. You talk. You have balls. You come online and you say your piece. I will be the first to defend you if people are like, this guy's a fucking jerk. I'm like, no, he actually defends his opinions live. He's wrong. He's talking about dinosaur stuff. But we can teach him how to be a mammal because once he's a mammal, we need your help because I'm not a parliament expert. I'm not a huge knowledge. I'm just a history guy who knows more history than the average person. Okay? I'm setting the bar pretty low. But more history than the average person is what I know, Wayne. So I know how societies rise and fall and cycles of barbarity, civilization, decadence, collapse. Okay? We have a chance to avoid the fourth and maybe bypass. You know, Trump almost bypassed one back to civility. But the people let him down. If you know Sun Tzu, he was a great general. I posted that. I pinned it. Every time I tweet about Sun Tzu, everyone's like, yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, Sun Tzu. Okay, great. Thanks. But it's like, this is important.
I'll be honest.
And it's more... Go ahead.
Time out.
I'll go in time out.
I tried to get a ticket because I'm only 90 minutes from the CPAC convention.
Okay.
In Orlando. And I really wanted to go see Trump speak because he is really the real deal when it comes to populist a movement. He's got 80 million followers.
Wait, Trump's the real deal?
Man. Trump is the real deal, man.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it's good for Canada.
You should be saying Marco Rubio's the real deal because he's established. And he once signed a deal that was a bilateral negotiation that brought all sides together. Go on.
Ron DeSantis. I'm in Florida.
Yep.
Ron DeSantis has Florida rocking. I have been here for a month.
Yep, populism in action. I'm not going to disagree.
I haven't died. Everything is open. People are wearing masks. They're saying, okay, wear your mask, but you can go to a restaurant. Businesses aren't dying. People aren't going bankrupt.
Okay.
Okay. Ron DeSantis at CPAC today pulled in like 35% of the popular vote to be the next president of the United States. Donald Trump is amazing. Now, I'm not saying he's amazing for Canada. Okay? Because he's not about being for Canada. He's about being for the United States of America. And what we need in Canada is a man who will put Canada first. Okay? That's what we need. That's what we need in Canada.
Anyone
And
tuning
Matt
into this is like,
Bernier-
is Wayne the PPCer? What are you doing? You're just like defending the position of Max Bernier being the Trump of Canada. He is exactly the Trump of Canada.
No, he's not, dude.
Yeah,
He's
you
a
were just,
charlatan.
honestly, you were placed in a
He's a
time capsule and buried in
panhandler.
Florida, and you just came up. And you were buried in 2015, and you woke up, and now you're up and awake and telling everybody, you know, that there's this great song like, you didn't have to help me out. And we're like, that song's old, bro. We all knew about that song. So right now, you need to do some learning. Maxime Bernier is the Trump of Canada. He's the. If you
No,
watch
he's
the
not.
news, Wayne, the
Alex,
normal comes from news.
Alex.
The normal comes from news.
No, Alex.
And so when
Alex,
politicians
Alex,
talk to no,
Alex.
boy, hey, boy,
No, Alex.
Hey, boy.
Alex. Seriously,
no,
stop.
no,
I was a founding
don't hang up.
member.
I'm gonna
I was
push
a
this
founding-
limit until you stop talking, but I don't want you to hang up. Listen to me.
I,
The normal is made by the news. And when politicians go on the news, that is your insight into how they think and what they're allowed to say. You can say that the news broadcaster is CBC and the whole thing's been scripted in advance. Oh, did you both get the emails of what you're going to say? Then he says, and then you say, and then he says back to you. Then you act surprised, and then he acts like that was off the cuff. And then they agree. And it was good. And Wayne was happy.
Alex.
But that changed when Max Bernier got up there and said, no, you do not frame the debate like this.
Alex.
It's a much
Alex.
worse English accent he has, but go on.
Hey, Alex,
Hey.
where are you two from?
Hey, hold on, Les
can
is
I,
here.
can I say?
Yeah, of course you can. It's
Yeah, let me
freestyle.
ask one question, you guys.
Hey, quiet.
Alex,
Okay.
where are you from, Alex?
Bernier.
Oh, wait, hold on.
What?
I realized, hold on, you can't hear Les when he's talking. So, Wayne, you bastard. I don't know. Do you have technology that didn't come out in 1985, Wayne, that you're capable of using? Can I send you an email? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on here?
Maybe next time, but I want, right now I'm not interested in listening to people.
No, I'm
Tell
fine
me
with that.
the
Wayne,
guy-
me and you are bros now, okay? You always have an invitation. The show pauses. Wayne's coming up. It's like the only segment I have, okay? I have one show. 50 views. We made it a hit, Wayne, okay? For my subscribership, that's really good.
Listen, man. Max Bernier.
Okay, go.
And I talked about.
Yes, go ahead. You have the last word, and then hang up, because there's other people backing up. The show's popping off, Wayne.
Yeah, that's cool. I told you about 5 problems. Landlord is raging. You can't get laid. You lost your job, and it all ties into the beater car. Okay.
Yep.
What we need is electoral.
God help you if
reform.
you're doing this beater analogy after I totally reversed the script on that.
I'm sorry, but you know what? Max Bernier has no party.
Mhm.
Max Bernier has no credibility. If he can't attract, seriously, if he can't attract me to his party,
Mhm.
and I was a founding member. I was a founding member, dude.
Thank you
And
for
I
saying,
did
dude.
stuff.
Yep.
So if he can't convince me at this point to give him a vote, then he is a loser. He will lose, and all you guys are doing, you have so much patriotic energy,
Yep.
and all
Thank
you're doing is going to help Trudeau win again. And I don't like O'Toole. I really don't.
Mhm.
But that's compromise.
Not
And
a
that's
nice
the
way to live,
it's out
hoping
for.
for O'Toole. That's not a nice way for humans to live during a crisis. I'll tell you that.
Sucks.
Yep. You'd
It
live a
totally
disheartened life where you're like, I sure hope he keeps his promises this time. Because Doug Ford, we thought he was a real good patriot. Sure, he's kind of dumb, but he's going to be brave like his brother. Nope, no bravery. The Liberals quickly fooled him
Yeah,
into
but-
being their puppet. O'Toole's saying, hey, you don't need to trick me. I'm already a liberal. right?
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Ontario, I'm a liberal. Elect me. It's so disingenuous.
Alex,
It's the Matrix acting
Alex,
like Agent Smith.
Alex,
Right as we realized Morpheus just appeared on all of our TVs and said, all you got to do is vote different, guys. I don't even need to come in this ship, this crazy spaceship. You just need to vote differently.
Alex, stop. Stop with the Matrix stuff. Stop with the Mobius
Hey,
stuff.
I stayed away from Neverending Story.
Okay?
I stayed away from Star Wars.
Okay, I'll tell you a real story. I went.
Okay, last story, then we're going on to less.
I went to a conservative leadership convention. I had a drink with Mike Harris. I freaking had a drink with Joe Clark. I met Dave Tabucci. Me and Tony Clement chatted a little bit. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I sort of shrugged shoulders or whatever you want to call it with some of the big boys, and I was sort of cast aside. I'm just a little voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went over to the side, and I was close to a bunch of young men, young guys, 19, 20, 21, all in blue suits with red ties. And they were talking amongst each other about getting government jobs. Oh, my dad got me this internship, and I'm going to be what do they call it in the House of Parliament? Sorry, I lost the word. Doesn't matter. But all these young men in their 19s and 20s were talking about the patronage appointments they were getting because their daddies were influential in the Conservative Party. Mm-hmm. And I just stood over to the side. I'm way older than them, and I was disgusted. So your daddy got you these jobs. So you know what? The CPC fucking sucks, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
It fucking sucks. Okay? But when we talked last time, Preston Manning came out with ideas. He came out with a populist movement. It took 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
10 years he rose to being almost the official opposition. Mm-hmm. And what I'm trying to tell you guys, what I'm trying to tell Grizzly, what I'm trying to tell all you guys is Matt ain't going from 0 seats and 0 candidates to any kind of political force in 4 months. Mm-hmm. You are wasting your energy, young man. Okay? Yep. You are wasting your energy. You're a Canadian patriot. I get it. But you are wasting your energy. Max will win 3 or less seats in the next election. So it makes more sense for you boys to freaking get in with the CPC. You can always ditch them 3 years down the road and push them back to the right. Push them against mass immigration. Push them against globalization. But right now, Max is a fucking loser, and he's going to remain a loser, okay?
All right.
Last words to you, man.
No, I'm going to say last words, and then you'll keep going, and then Les will never get any talk time. And it's PPC Patriot night, not dinosaurs. Tell us about Dinosaur World night. And I don't mean your age, Wayne. I just mean your pre-Trump asteroidism. So that was great, Wayne. Thanks for coming through and coming to talk. You're welcome back anytime. You know that.
Cool. I hope you guys realize that politics is about compromise. Mm-hmm. And, I know the CPC isn't really, they aren't the answer to Canada, but Max isn't the Messiah. So make your vote count. the number one thing we need to do is get rid of this little frickin' jackass soy boy trust fund baby stoner addict.
Trudeau sucks.
that's running our
Trudeau
country.
sucks. Oh, okay, shiny objects. Trudeau sucks, guy. You're a great man, Wayne. And we appreciate you taking bullets for us, even if it was in clandestine or criminal activities and not in the armed forces. You take care, and I'll probably jam again, maybe 5 days. If there's a window sooner, maybe sooner. But you'll definitely get a link.
Hey, I'm open for it, man. If we can...
Yeah, but get used to late
number-
night, because you need to have a nap in the afternoon instead of heading back to the clubhouse.
Yes.
Okay? And then you'll be ready for 11, okay? Because I have children, and they go to bed. And sometimes when all three of them wake
Hey,
up, there's a kid storm, and I'll have to hand it over to Les, and Les will run the show till I'm back.
Hey, DM me your address, man.
Oh, sure, Federal Agent 1079. I know Kinsella's offered you money, bro. You ain't finding out where I live until my dog is right in your face going, what the fuck are you doing here? And it'll be speaking it in dog.
I will totally send your kids the latest Disney DVD so you can talk to me at 7 and they can be occupied for a couple hours and thrilled, man. You are cool.
That's how they got Bin Laden, bro, so no thanks. But you can send them a digital present, or maybe a landline present, because we have each other's phone numbers, all right?
Hey, cool. I'll let you get to your other people, man. It's always good talking to you.
You too, brother. Take care, man. We're all friends. All right. Later, bro. All right, Les, what's cracking? Later, man. Grizzly Patriot. Dude, I've been letting the Grizzly Patriot wait? Sorry, Les, you're not talking ever again. Oh my gosh, what was I doing?
Oh, Mark's on.
Yeah, Mark's
Okay,
on. I'm just kidding.
Oh, Mark's
man.
on.
Don't
Mark's on. I'm going to hold on. I'll listen to Mark for a while.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I do.
We'll all talk.
I listen
Three
to
men
him
can
every
talk.
damn week anyway.
So do I. I'm not starstruck, though. Come on, get real. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Pin. Do we have... What am I doing here? This isn't showing.
Alex, first question. Where are you from? Like, what part of the country?
I'm from Ajax, which is a suburb outside of Toronto, to the east of Toronto.
Yeah.
You know it? Are you an
No, I
Ontario?
get-
You're Saskatoonian?
No, shit, no. I'm from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, but I got lots of insight from the guys from Ontario. I've been guiding all the big-time lawyers and old Liberal Party guys for the best part of 35 years. Been doing it since I was a teenager. Guys that used to lawyer for Chrétien, so...
Yeah, I know some people that work with government
years.
peeps.
I get all the politics and the whole history of where, their old families and their old money has voted and what they're thinking. It's pretty fucked up.
No,
and Wayne sounded exactly like that again. And he doesn't get the paradigm switch yet, and neither do the people that I've, hung
No, they
around
don't,
with,
eh? It's really...
with.
Yeah, it's bizarre, man.
And neither do the people around me either, frankly, but...
No, dude, I talk to in-laws and family members, my own family. Like, I don't want my politics to dominate our conversations. I don't know if I'll get Mark's video. I'm trying to, put him up in the Zoom cam, but you guys see the window, right? I'm trying to share Zoom here, but it's the first time I've done it, so I'm sure Mark is familiar with these technical difficulties. But let me know if you can hear me, Mark. And yeah. You hear that?
I hear you.
That's the Grizzly Patriot, y'all. And I'll show them to you once I learn how to use Streamlabs OBS better.
All good, brother.
How you doing, man? I hope I didn't keep you waiting long. Wayne is a real toll on the mind.
No, you didn't. Actually, I was busy uploading videos and setting StreamYard schedules for the week, and so I just showed up, and here we are. And it's unfortunate that I missed Wayne. I would have enjoyed that.
Oh, you would. Maybe you'd be more patient and polite with him, but it's just not my way. I like Wayne because he's a man and he actually talks. Like how many people actually do that are against populism? It's not a very easy position to defend.
It's hard, man. I'm impressed that you're actually able to get somebody to join you that disagrees with you.
Isn't that cool? So when I'm online, I'm kind of, like when you're in a car, you're more of a jerk than in real life. That's how I treat Twitter, right? So my tone is always a bit tongue-in-cheek, a bit, obnoxious to people that disagree with me. But
me too.
Once they get on though and they want to talk, I'm like, no, we get equal time. I know I can rant, so I'll stop. Take as long as you want. Have your say.
Right.
But no, it's just, I don't know. What's your talk with Theo? I noticed you. This is quite a segue, but you went to, what was it? Almost into politics, but you're like, I'm a polite host. I'm not going to ram PPC down this guy's throat. What was going through your head when you were reaching that precipice with him?
Because for our first interview, I didn't want to hammer him too hard with the PPC stuff.
Yep.
I sort of let him skate a little bit, and that's okay. Next time we're going to talk a little bit more about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I'm just going to try and relink your Zoom so people can see you on here, and then.
Sure.
But yeah. I don't know. I like Theo, and I like that he's kind of with us. But I feel like a lot of people are with us in every bit of their rhetoric. But it's like, how long do you keep saying there's an issue before you say, what do we do about that issue? And should we address the elephant in the room that our current solutions that we're being like herded into a box to vote for, which is O'Toole, which everyone knows under the surface he's going to be replaced by Pierre or Sloan in some sort of manufactured drama that gets everyone interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
They're going to have their Melrose Place drama that everyone focuses on and goes, oh, Pierre just rode in on a white horse.
Yeah, and that's what they'll do. They'll create some sort of kabuki theater for everybody to fawn over. And, look, the CPC is back. And they're not. And they're the same as they've always been since the Reform Party sold out and created it. So, yeah, until there's a conservative leader, a conservative party leader that will openly denounce the UN Sustainable Development Agenda, Agenda 21, 2030, and the Great Reset as a whole, I won't even look at them, and neither should anybody else.
No, exactly.
And they won't. They absolutely will never do that. They're too committed. They've been too committed for too long. They are what they are. And people need to recognize that and get out of the kabuki theater, get out of this hypnosis, and face reality. There's one option. If you don't like globalism, if you don't like the way the country's been going in the last 40 years, there's one option.
No, exactly.
Hey guys, you remember back when Scheer was running for the Conservative Party leadership, and I was talking to all my friends in Ontario, and they go, yeah, we're voting for Max. We're voting for Max. And then I phoned back a couple of days ago when he wasn't in, and I go, what the fuck happened, guys? And he goes, all you Western guys voted for Scheer. I'm going, what the hell does that have to do with anything? We don't have a vote out here. It made no sense.
Right.
Why didn't Max get in the first time?
Well, we know why he didn't. They stole it from him.
Yep.
They went through 13 rounds of voting. He led the first 12 by decent margins. And then all of a sudden, the 13th round, 7,000 votes came from somewhere out of nowhere. Basically the milk lobby and from what I understand, liberals within the milk lobby that joined the party just so they could vote.
Yeah.
And then add in Dominion counting, and there you have it.
Oh. Yeah, so it's consensus that it was stolen, is what you're saying.
Yeah, 100%. I haven't seen anybody argue against what I just said.
No, they run from that argument, dude. I've been saying, what happens if there was a flat earther that wanted to debate me? I would say, good Lord, yes, let's go. Okay, what does your theory do to predict what it looks like on the southern hemisphere? Because they say that the stars look like this down there, and our stars look like this. So at opposite times of the day, if they're right, it should look like this. And so I can show that one theory demonstrates something and is useful and predicts something accurately. It's falsifiable. But my reaction wouldn't be, stop it, get offline, you're dangerous. What you're saying could cause racism. What you're saying could cause transgenderism, where you're racist against trans. It's like there's that's an obscene reaction if you have a winning argument. So that's why the doctor challenge is out there, not because I'm a narcissist who thinks I can beat doctors in debate, but it illustrates that they should be able to ragdoll me like I can ragdoll someone going flat earth. Right? Because it's not
100%.
just your job as a flat earther to point out that there's holes in the theory that we currently use. Well,
But listen, here's the thing. These politicians, all of them, if they're at federal, provincial level, they don't actually debate. Have you ever heard them actually debate? It's all theater. It's all it's scripted almost, I would say. None of these people stand up to actual scrutiny. None of these people stand up to, like, even look at through COVID. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of times I've asked Scott Moe to, buck up. Let's have a debate. Let's open the discussion. Let's be transparent. Let's talk about the PCR. Let's talk about the 99.7%. Let's talk about HCQ and ivermectin. Let's talk about all these things. Let's have an open debate. Let's do that. Letters, emails, Twitter, nothing, silence.
Isn't that crazy?
So they're not going to. They just won't do it. They will not do it. And everyone says the left won't do it. Well, I mean, I was going to say neither were conservatives, but they're on the left too. So they're playing the same game.
No, exactly, man. It's fun because on one side, isn't it nice? And we got your video up finally, so that's good. But I think we did. But on one side, you're happy that the argument's so easy. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to run from anything. And on the other side, you're like, am I living in a mad world where the maniacs are convinced I'm the maniac? And that's why they're dismissing me? Because you're not allowed to listen to maniacs? It's really bizarre what's happened to the world. And I tell people, I'm like, if you're ever going to deconvert someone and you're going to, like, have an effect on them, never do it while they're in a group in front of you and you're the one guy talking to them. You have to do it one-on-one because there's, like, eye roll momentum where as soon as, wait, Trump? Did you just say Trump? And they all look at each other. Did you hear what he said? And then it's just like watching the blinders go down, right? And it's like, you're never going to accept anything from me because I am a subversive source to you because the media peppered you with that. It's bizarre. So you got to get someone one-on-one. And I don't know. Once you get them one-on-one, that's why I tell people you got to have a talk with someone at Thanksgiving. Your uncle. You can be like, hey, did you hear about this PCR test thing? That's it. Right. Something small like that. You don't need to go become an activist. I mean, it would be nice if patriots could listen to you and hit the streets and do some awareness campaign. Like, that's why I sent a printer tweet out that it's like, all you need is a printer, PPC's platform, and a hand to knock on doors with. And you can just have a good day. Like, those dudes picking up garbage on the side of on the road? And it's like, that's great. You're making the place look better. And it feels good doing it. You could knock on someone's door, wear a mask, just say hi. You don't need to be like Churchill with them. You just say, hey, I just wanted you to know there's a way out. You don't need to watch cable news if you're not interested. Throw this away. But, cover it, soak it in Purell, in a basin of Purell, and then read it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's, sort of the way we've taken that. I'm 100% into the whole getting into the community thing. Twitter's great, social media is great, but it has limits. YouTube, whatever, all these social media platforms, they're great, but they have limits and you're stuck in an echo chamber for the most part. So I'm actively going out. I'm asking people to set up clandestine town halls. So don't advertise the location because God forbid we meet in a group. And they're doing it. And we've been to 2 now. The first one, there were 61 people. Last night, there was 120. And they're growing. And so there's these, and we're getting the message out and we're starting to talk and we're connecting some dots for people because you're right. I mean, we have a massive media lockdown that we can't bust through. So how else do you get the message out? How else do you educate? Well, you go door to door. You go to the people, instead of waiting for them to come to you.
Yeah, and we're at the mercy of the web lords. They shut every door to us that they can. They ban us before you can ever get a site with enough momentum to make a real chip, You should be 100%. At 200,000 followers right now. but they'll keep smacking you down, and you got to start over, and you're shadow banned, and you're click walled when you reply to shit. So this is a fantasy to us. The real world's all that exists. It's the only place left. And I think Thomas Paine was a pamphleteer, and his job was getting America to be ready to shake off the shackles of Britain. And he wrote Common Sense, and it was a pamphlet. He was literally printing shit and going, you guys need to be aware of this. And that's the kind of thing, like, I think the momentum that PPC's at right now is big enough to be a vote split threat, huge vote split threat. So we're not going away. Once you realize that you're in a matrix, you don't just, take the virtual stake and hop back in and say, okay, maybe we'll trust that this politician won't turn into Agent Smith and betray us as Ford did, as Boris did in UK, as Macron did in France. Like, they all will betray us because of your theme. Your main theme is globalism, right? Yep. Because that's 100%. The big truth. My big truth that I'm pushing is they all want mass vaccines, dude. That's creepy. If the PCR test scandal exists and Top Doctor Challenge is out there, come talk to me, come talk to Mark. Why don't you just tell us, educate us how that's not a real scandal?
Right.
They won't do it.
And they won't. They won't because they can't.
I don't know, man.
Because they can't.
Exactly.
That's why you never see them come up. I mean, I don't know. For as long as I've existed, I've asked anyone with an opposing view come onto my channel. They never do. They never do. So that's why I'm so impressed you got this Wayne guy, even though I guess he's
and you're so less rude
minded.
than me too. So you're not going to like blindside them and kind of ridicule them as you go. Like, you're a pretty reasonable guy. And
it depends.
I gotcha. I know you. If someone ticked you off, and I haven't seen, I'm like looking at your YouTube streams and your Rumbles now as like shit to binge watch, because I hadn't followed you for that long. And realize that you were just, working the game so long, and you're actually doing stuff. You're lining up lawyers. And what was that? What happened with that? With the PCR? Was this PCR lawyerage? Like to inquire and challenge?
You know what? We're pretty much at the point. I've talked to lawyer houses in Saskatchewan, and nobody will touch it with a 10-foot pole, because you have lefty lawyer houses that want more lockdowns, more restrictions, more of this, more communism. And then you have the right side lawyer houses that don't want to attack Scott Moe and the Sass Party because they're quote unquote conservative, and they support them. So I'm sort of I'm left, holding the bag. So I think I'm probably going to hire a paralegal to help me with documentation, and I'll file it myself.
Fuck yeah! All right, and
not a bad idea.
We can crowdfund that, right?
Well, I don't think it'll cost very much. It won't?
Oh, okay. Well, you shouldn't be incurring any monetary costs if you're actually the one putting it together. So
well, and I mean, if it comes to that, or when it comes to that, I'll probably throw up a GoFundMe or something.
So have you been doing that, and people have been helping you out a lot along the way here? Because I find you live in a very patriotic area.
Yeah, we live in, or I was using PayPal on my YouTube and on the website. And the PayPal cut me off, right? They canceled me. So I'm back to, I'm back to e-transfer. And, it's just through the website, whatever. We get some decent donations.
What did PayPal say when they canceled you? What was the reason?
It was generic. Your content, or you're not meeting our community standards, horseshit. Nothing specific.
Yeah.
They and no warning, no nothing. It's just, I opened my thing up, boom, gone. Yeah. And it came right after a post that I put up on Twitter and Facebook, saying that we are traveling. Was it that one? Yeah, I think it was that one, where we're traveling to these clandestine meetings, and it's becoming very effective, and we're getting the word out. And oh, by the way, here's where you can donate. And half an hour after that, boom, gone. So I think it was complaint driven.
Wow.
I think somebody somewhere put a complaint into PayPal, and they had to look at my website. All you gotta do is look at the website, which I've been running PayPal on for about 8 months, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, I guess they actually looked at it. And I mean, I got tabs that say COVID 1984. I got UN agenda. All these things that they hate. So that was it. Boom, wow. You're gone. Goodbye. But at least I was smart enough to I always deposited the funds I raised on PayPal into the bank account almost on a daily or every 3 days into the account to get it off of there, because I knew at some point they're gonna dump me. So
wow.
so we're back to e-transfer, and whatever. We raised.
No, but they're going to take that from you soon, dude. Like with what
Bill
Blair's doing, he's making patriotism terrorism.
Right.
It's
my bank account's
they're
going to be shut down.
weaponizing Canada's healthy immune system against healthy cells.
Yeah.
They're turning it on us. If you're proud of your country, you're a xenophobe. You're not willing to check your whiteness. Check your whiteness. Hate yourself.
Terrorist.
You're
a domestic terrorist.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people when they're like, why would you run? Why would you leave Canada if they don't vote your way? And I'm like, it's not me leaving. It will be impossible to exist this close to liberal Mecca. I won't have banks that will take me. Vaccines for children. I am so close to getting my child out of public school entirely and never sending any of them back because of how lunatic they are. If you make my child wear a mask while he's running around playing with his friends, we're out. It's over. You know what I mean? I tell him if you have to wear it, kind of pull your nose down, pull it down below your nose. I'm teaching him how to be like a subversive, and that shouldn't be happening at school. Right. I should, and I told he goes to a Catholic school. He's in senior kindergarten. The other two haven't even started school. And I talked to our secretary at the school when I first enrolled him, and I said, so this is a Catholic school. Like, I was baptized. I was all that. I'm an atheist now, but I believe that there's two aspects to religion, the veracity and the utility. I don't believe in the veracity, but I believe the utility to be insanely high and indispensable to humanity. And that too many people that turn atheists start turning government into God. And I'm not an evangelical about it. You know what I mean? But I was baptized. I have the right to send my kid where I go to school, and I love the Christian people in my little community here. But I told her, I said, so we're not going to be learning about multigender and anal sex and that stuff. This is a Catholic school, right? She's like, oh, no, we teach all that. And I'm like, to children that haven't hit puberty yet. And I'm getting more romantic about what I was saying. I was way more polite and boring with the secretary. And I'm like, so you're teaching kids about anal sex at what age? And I think she said like grade 7 or 8. And I'm like, what the hell? So I said, you're for real? And she's like, oh yeah. And this story is legit true. She said, we have to teach them because we found out that boys in high school, because they got cameras everywhere, are only making it with girls that do anal sex. That was the reason, bro. That was the fucking reason. And I'm like, just go with it. They're not going to say anything in senior kindergarten. But then when you see these teachers going, clap your hands if racism is a problem. All teachers are racist until they take my course. When teachers start doing that, and that teacher may teach my kids, we're leaving. You know what I mean? We're leaving. You're so how old are your kids if that's public info?
Yeah, well, mine are 25, 23, and 21. So,
wow.
Yeah. Thank God.
Good for you, man. They beat the system. They got out before it. So did any of them get through the university meat grinder of the brain to make you hate yourself?
None of them went. Thank God.
Good. They learned valuable skills like trades?
Yep.
Good.
100%. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I got really lucky. All my kids are really good. They didn't get into the drugs. They didn't get into all the other shit they could have got into. And yeah, I mean,
got Grizzly Patriot dad. Of course they're not getting
two of them are working for me. So,
cool.
That's
family
cool.
business. That's how it is.
Yeah. And my oldest, my daughter, she's working in a long-term care facility actually out in Vancouver.
Holy, the only place where it's actually really dangerous during COVID.
Yeah.
Man. And you said you were a prison guard for 25 years?
25, yeah.
Holy shit. So
where was that at, Mark?
Here, Les, you take over. I'm going to get a coffee.
All right.
I did 8 years out in BC in provincial, and then I did 17 federal here in Saskatoon.
Well, in Saskatoon.
What's that?
I thought it might have been in PA. I thought it might have been in PA, but you were in Saskatoon.
Yeah, it just about was PA, but my first wife, when we moved back from BC, she didn't want any part of Prince Albert, and I could understand that. So I actually got hired at Saskpen too, there in PA, but I took Saskatoon for her benefit. So whatever, it was what it was.
Probably a better choice. So
Uh,
how old's your boy? Your middle boy there? He's what, 20 something? You said 20, 25?
23, and my youngest boy's 21. And my daughter's 25.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, but the younger boys, you're lucky to get through the sludge of no fuck around, sir.
Yeah, you know what? My boys are pretty switched on. They're my one boy listens to InfoWars, not Alex Jones, but the other guy, the younger guy.
Owen Schroyer.
Yeah, Schroyer. Yeah, that's sort of his go-to. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, I got a kid that's 27. His hero right now is Tom McDonald.
Oh yeah.
But he's been through the trenches too, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what he finds, and his solace is like, holy shit, I get this stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Actually, there's a lot of Zoomers that are switched on and picking up, you know. And I like to see guys like Tom McDonald, and there's another guy, a Canadian guy, RC Rap Boy or something. Another one sort of coming into the fold, which is nice because these guys change the minds of the youngsters, eh? And it's counterculture finally, and so it's good to see. Not that I'm a fan of rap, but
well, I've seen the label. I just haven't pulled it up. I've always been a fan of any genre of music, so it doesn't matter. Whatever makes sense to somebody.
I'm completely not a fan of rap music, but go on.
No.
I hate the culture of it, but a good culture, yeah, it's desperately needed, is the good culture rap. But yeah, as a genre,
Alex,
it's pretty much the only one.
Why can't I see you? I can see you on YouTube, but I can't see you in this.
Oh, because this is frontier science to me, is why. And if I use the camera for Streamlabs, it won't turn on in Zoom. Right? That's how it works. I don't know. That's how it works for me. But
I got mine on reverse.
But you didn't have your camera on, Les, so I didn't set you up. I'll set it to like active speaker view, so when you talk, you'll show up. But that's the best I can do. That's the most magic I can create.
Hey, did you hear that Coke is backing away from that nonsense that came out?
Oh, I hope they are. It would be suicide not to. Well, we just believe that if you get more of a tan, you'll be better.
Right. We have tanning beds now. Yeah. So apparently they backed off, and also Mr. Potato Head is backed off, going to just Potato Head, and now it's back to Mr. Potato Head.
Really? So the new normal is taking hits. Isn't that great when we're actually winning in areas?
Yeah, and we got to take some wins when we get them. Holy shit, man.
Oh, dude, I keep saying to people, Les will give you tons of airtime, I promise. I'm sorry I'm so verbose. But I keep saying to people, you have to consider something, and you have to know that a crisis happened to trigger the socialist lockdown. But just because they exploited that crisis does not mean populism can't exploit that crisis and use it to show everyone that they live in a fucking matrix, and that it doesn't even matter if I can articulate the best argument. Your only way out of this is populism now. So I'm sorry that it's such a huge task and that it's never been done before, but we are in never been done before times. It has never been done before that healthy people are in quarantine. That would have been impossible to the dinosaur world that is now telling us that you went from 0 seats to what? You're going to take over the entire parliament? And it's like, yeah. What else? What were you planning to do? Trust these guys?
Well, we pretty much have to.
Yeah, we have to. And the good news is, it just takes effort. You don't need to be a fucking genius to knock on a door and go, hey guys, we're leaving the Matrix. Here's the platform. Compare it to, and stop watching cable news, by the way. See you later. You know?
Yeah.
There needs to be awareness outside of the Matrix, which is the web lords. So it means that the only way we win, our gladius, if we were Roman soldiers, will be knocking on doors. You know, you don't need to be articulate. 100%. You just need to be able to hand someone a printed piece of paper to make sure they're at least aware we exist. Because the media ignores us, and then when they're done ignoring us, it goes into Kinsella mode where they pretend to be us, and then they say racist shit that Bill Blair will use to go, I knew it, we have another subversive party. The free exchange of ideas is leading to distrust of government. You know? Like, our only way is knocking on doors. It's so simple, but it's effort. And we live in decadent times where everyone is, it's the excuse culture. Oh, I was working all day.
Yeah,
Other people
right.
can do this.
Right.
You know, I got TV shows to watch.
Yeah, exactly. I got Netflix. I got, COD. I got to play. I'm just too busy.
Exactly.
Although I hate everything that's going on, but you know what? If I just, stay in this basement on this couch, I'm, not that affected, and they're going to send me money anyway, so it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have no purpose other than being the best at Call of Duty or whatever it is they play now.
That's the goals. It's like these are the liberal success stories, though, because they're happy in their pod. You have an online world. We're going to let you plug into your fucking TV, like Avatar plugging into the horse. You know,
Absolutely.
They want to fully envelop these people in the Matrix. It's literally
And
the
then
Matrix,
we
except
wonder
in this
why-
one, they get in. We don't get out.
And
They
then we
just
wonder
hop in.
why suicide is going through the roof.
Yep.
And all these kids need fucking therapy, and they all need,
Exactly.
drugs to cope. And it's like, dude, get off that machine, get out of your house, get some fresh air, go to the woods, paddle a canoe, hunt a deer, do something.
Yeah.
With your hands, build something.
What do you do if you're in the suburbs of Toronto?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Right.
I can't imagine.
It's actually good. The suburbs are good. Like where
I guess the subs would be all right. Yeah.
Subs are great.
Is that where you are?
Everyone's flooding here. Yeah, east suburb, Ajax.
Well, I thought
east
for
of
some
Toronto.
reason you were in Quebec. Why did I think that?
I don't know. Maybe because I like Maxime Bernier a lot. That would be.
Oh, you know what? No, it's your handle on Twitter. Trends.
It's just sweet. Yeah, it's just sweet PPC. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't put a lot of thought into Twitter names. Unfortunately, it's kind of a impulse thing, and then I never change it. Yeah. But my first name was Slender Chunk, and I'm literally just trying to write something that's the opposite of each other, and then that tag stuck with me through the atheism years.
Okay.
But no, it's in 9 minutes the call's going to cut off. But I'm totally good to resend you guys the link if it's enough for you, Mark, and you want to tap out. That's fine. But you always have.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap out because I still got 1,000 things to do. I've been gone for a day and a half here, so I got to catch up and get some stuff done. But I wish I would have been here at the appropriate time because that would have been good too. But hey, next time let me know when you're up and I'll come join you.
Like I said, you and Wayne are permanent guests. If I do this stream, I'll send you both a link to join, and if you can join, you can join. And I'll try and I'm pretty much I don't have tons of notice for these things, but
when we make it happen again, I'll share out your YouTube and while we're live, and we'll get some more viewers and get some more subs to your channel. And
hey, man. That's good with me. I mean, I don't get married to any of these channels because I know the web lords will just swipe it away once I get used to it. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to get used to anything on YouTube. I'm like, dude, just give me something where I log in. You were saying D Live. Sure. I just went on D Live once for someone else. I'm like, this feels like I'm in some horrible programming. Like,
yeah, D Live isn't great, and they'll
weird.
turf you too if you don't follow the rules. But Odyssey and Rumble are both having to have live stream options here soon. So
good.
As soon as they're up and running, they're going to be fantastic, and I think we can find a home there because they don't censor and they're all that good stuff. So hopefully, but yeah, anytime, man. Let me know.
Great.
I'll come in. But
and
if we can find
Rumble's going to be
the
one, do you think, Or you hope it's Odyssey, but Rumble seems more popular, right?
Yeah, I think so at the moment. But I like Odyssey. The only downfall to Odyssey right now is when you upload videos, they don't do any conversion, so you actually have to do the bit rate reduction before you upload, which is a pain in the ass. I don't know how to do it.
Do you not have a volunteer by now with your followership and your Patriot levels in Canada?
I mean, I got people, but the problem is
those people should be just volunteering. Like, dude,
I don't want to hand anything over to anybody yet.
Oh, you're a DIY guy.
Yeah, I really am. Like, if I want to do something, I got to do it myself, right?
I wouldn't be. I would hand it off. I'd go. I want to go at 11. Launch it. And then if you had like a Jamie, like a Joe Rogan, Jamie, look that up. That would be amazing.
It would be. It would be fantastic. I have Rio, who's my sort of producer, semi-producer dude.
I'm
so
glad you have
I could probably
that
get him
together with a producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's evolving, but again, half of it's about me letting go of the reins a little bit. So
that's it, man. And you know what? One of the main causes for the Civil War loss was Jefferson Davis was obsessed with doing everything himself. He wouldn't trust people to write orders or dispatch. So he'd be up like 20 hours of the day. I don't trust you to do this. I'm just going to do it. I don't trust you to do this. You know?
Exactly.
So Lincoln was just more like, get it done. He hired Stanton, and Stanton was like an intelligent, evil genius who worked on his behalf. But that's what you need to do. You need to get that Patriot tap in.
I have trust issues.
Right? Yeah. They have to be trusted. Dude, you got to show them a picture of you with like a crowbar and just go, this is me and you. This is the last thing you'll see if you betray me. Because you're trusting them with a lot of stuff. Your video archive, all that 100%. Stuff. Yeah. Yep. Anyways, brother, I love that you came on. Cool. You're always welcome. Sorry, Les, if you want to have a last exchange there, any question you want to ask our top celebrity. You are, man. Who's above you, Max? Am I going to have Max on the show? I would never let Max go on this show because I'd politically poison him.
Right.
Yeah, well, no, I don't care about that because he rejects the premises when people try and... He's smart enough to go, it's not about this guy. You know, this guy just agrees with me on this. Like, he can do that. And everyone that shits on Max, I'm like, we're not having a fucking leadership race. He did everything himself, and he's the only guy that's defeated every Marxist narrative on the, shows... on the CBCs, the CTVs, and all that. You look at Pierre, get Pierre in front of a camera and go, will you make sure that all people need to be vaccinated before they go back to work? Tell me what he says. I guarantee you it'll be some puffy non-answer that just hands us over to the whim of Walmart. Well, Walmart said you can't come in, and I'm not one. That's just the free market. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
no, they're going to betray us.
But I'm actually for a leadership review or convention because I know Max would slaughter whoever runs against him.
Oh, good point. Well, he wouldn't slaughter you. It would be a West-East civil war if you went against.
We're actually. I tried to just before I take off here, but I tried to put through into the Constitution that if the PPC leader is from the East, then we need to elect a deputy leader from the West. If the leader's from the West, then we need to elect a deputy leader from the East. And they were open to that, so I think that might be where we're headed. So hopefully,
I like that, man.
There's a big divide, right?
I want you to also. One thing I'm interested in is the federal versus provincial efforts for People's Party. Right? Like, are we just federal, or is there ambitions to make provincial stuff? We're going to get cut off at any moment, but keep going.
Yeah, we got 2.5 minutes. People asked me that before a provincial election here in Saskatchewan in the fall. And I mean, we didn't have any time to put something together to run. And then there was the Buffalo Party, which was a separatist party. Now they sort of backed off separatism. So they seem to be that party that's filling that hole right now. And then Alberta, they got, 5 or 6 parties now.
But do the principles translate? Can you take the PPC platform and go People's Party of Alberta, People's Party of Ontario?
Yeah, I think he can. Max doesn't want to be directly associated or tied to provincial entities, at least at this time, and you can understand that. So, but yeah, is the platform or the principles transferable? 100%.
Yeah, because it seems like the fronts are equally important, but PPC is only here for federal side. And other people would say, oh, you're trying to get too much too fast. It's like, sorry, the comet hit. We're going to get ready now.
Yeah, and I look at it. I mean, the reason I'm on with the PPC is because of globalism. That's my whole thing. And so, could we start a PPC party in Saskatchewan that runs on that same platform? 100%, right? See? I could run in a city council position on that same platform, right?
Exactly. Okay, cool, man. Well, you're going to get cut off. Let's stay on, and I'll relink you, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. I'll resend the link.
Nice chatting, guys.
Good night, Mark.
You'll get to talk to Captain Canada more next time.
I'll be back whenever, if I can, next time you're up.
That's amazing, dude.
I'm glad you're doing this.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful, man. Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Take care, brother.
Ciao.
Okay, meeting over. Let's start her up again. Refresh the clock. Ross, Jess, if you want to join. Les, you're in already, my friend. Let's do it. Invite. Copy that invitation. That was awesome. I was very happy to have the big dog jump in. Messaging less. Stand by, people. Oh, crap. Am I showing that? No, I'm not showing it good. Les, where art thou? Ross, just tell me your Twitter handle because I can't get to WhatsApp to send you a link, my friend. And I searched like stove because I know it's some variation of that. There's Les has the invite. We'll see if he comes back. And hold your camera sideways, bro, and then you can fit perfectly in the little stream window I've got. How long have we been on for? Does it tell me on this stream thing? We'll cut it off at a reasonable time. Hour and 25 minutes? That's not that long where I come from. So any late night hawks, and I stay up very late, and I don't require much sleep. I don't know what's wrong with so many people that are like, oh, I didn't get 8 hours of sleep. Didn't get 8 hours of sleep? How about you have a child? How about you have a fucking child? Because you learn that I'm either going to go mental or just say that 2 hours is enough. And Betty White, what is she, fucking 100 now, and she gets 5 hours of sleep a night? Let's just get real. So it's Patriot Jam night. I want nothing more than to jam with Jess and Ross, but I want Patriots to join up too. So if there's any Patriots that want to get the word out and treat this as their speaker's corner, this is really the last free place you have on Earth. And Les is back. Turn on the original sound. Let's see if he pops up. Let's see if the video holds. Stretch it out. Hold your camera sideways, Les. If you can. It's not a fucking big deal. I'm sorry. I'm a jerk. And as soon as Ross tells me his Twitter, or if Jess wants to reactivate her Twitter, she's having a Twitter hiatus because, you know, Twitter is a cesspool. And it's like that little swamp, you know, in Lord of the Rings when they look into that swamp, and if you look in too long, it drags you in. Les, do you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen them all, yep.
Yeah, what's the swamp called, remember? There's like a swamp where you look in and there's all these bodies floating just under the surface like manatees. I like movie analogies, so.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
I mean, Wayne hates it. He's like, don't use those damn analogies or I'm not coming on. And I'm like, what? And then he gives me his theory. Life's a car. You repair it or you don't. Or you blame your mechanic. And I'm like, you just told me I can't use analogies, Wayner. So he's a classic.
Well, Wayne, I recognized him right away as somebody that I would know from Ontario.
Yeah.
They talk the same. They're insiders and always have been, right? And it's hard to get them outside that paradigm. I'm sitting out here in Saskatchewan, southern Saskatchewan, right? I get it. I watch everything go around, and to watch them do what they do down in Ontario and not make the right decisions blows my mind for how smart and how productive they can be, right? And making their money and doing the things that they do. But they fuck up, it seems like, every time. And then they call back and go, well, I didn't know. No, you did know. We talked about this. Yeah. And it's been happening for 30 years. Like trust me, I'm a little bit younger than Wayne.
Where did you grow up, Les?
7 miles from the U.S. border.
But whereabouts? In Saskatchewan?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so if you live in Toronto, you realize we're, I don't know, I'm just checking the mic level here. You get that we're very fast and busy people who, when I go to other cities, I miss Toronto because every other city has this hatred for Toronto, right? And Calgary, Vancouver, they all have this, I hope Toronto does poorly. I don't know what it is, but when I'm in Toronto, I feel very at home with the busy folk. What? And everyone that's in the country, I find to be like a treat. Like having ice cream because they're so low key and not stressed out. And they're ready to just like, you walk into a convenience store and it's like, how are you doing today? It's like, oh, I'm doing good. Sorry, I'm from Toronto. We're not used to speaking to each other. You know?
There's something to do with the rural communities out here in Western Canada and something called the Bank Act.
Yep.
And something called the Farm Security Act of something here in Saskatchewan, right? That a couple of guys wrote, and I know one of them pretty well. And it protected the farmers against the Eastern bankers from coming scooping up their lands when they had a couple of years of drought. Mm-hmm. And the animosity started way back 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't something that just happened over a pipeline or this or that. It's been brewing a long time.
Gotcha. Yep.
And still the politics hasn't changed, right? There's been good liberals in the past, and a lot of my good friends from down east are honest, good liberals, when liberal was something that you could talk about. But times have changed, and they voted the wrong way. They were Max, and then they blamed it on the West, and now they voted for fucking O'Toole, whatever. So.
There's no one that votes for O'Toole. He put in his time, and they said, we're going to let you use our computer algorithms to give the illusion that you won. You know what I mean?
What I
Once you make it to Biden level and you do enough chores for the demon lord Moloch, then they're just like, okay, don't worry. We'll just, no matter how they vote, it goes to Frankfurt. And then they come to our email, and then we decide where we're going to place the votes. And that's, in that sense, we're in charge of how much we cheat, because they don't want to say, oh, we cheated too much, and then it was noticed. Like, the web works for them. The news works for them. They don't need the people. That's why I say this battle is humans versus robots and elitists. And the robots and elitists have a lot of pawns activated right now, where they just bombard them with the robot narrative, and then the humans become robots. They're like, oh, I trust news. News says case numbers high. Me stay in. Compliance equals patriotism. Rat on thy neighbor. Maintain harmony. You are a Chinese citizen now.
That's your perspective. Out here, it's a little different.
Okay.
I was just at the rink last night with a bunch of people.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. In the country, they're way cooler.
They are, but they're still standing around in the rink with their masks on. And here's what's going on: they just don't want to offend anybody. Yeah. And I'm going, well, Jesus Christ! Like there's 15 parents standing around for a AAA tryout type of a deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all know each other. We have for years, because all our girls have played together, and we're going like, why are we standing here with masks on?
Yep.
Well, because we're supposed to, I guess. I'm going, well, whatever. I'm having my coffee. I'm wearing mine around my chin like a gator and just talking to you folks like normal. Like, the whole thing is kind of ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And even to see my neighbors, my good, hard-ass ranch and farming neighbors,
mm-hmm.
Do those and submit to that, I'm going like, guys, just stop. You just have to stop, and it ends, right?
Oh, yeah.
Especially here in Saskatchewan, where it's so small.
Yeah.
It's so small.
I'm just staggered when I saw the population of Alberta was comparable to Toronto. And then you think Saskatchewan's what, quarter of that? Half of Alberta's size?
Well, we're 1.1 up here.
1.1 mil. Holy.
Yeah.
That's literally like a 10-minute drive for me is the same number of people as all of your province.
Yeah, I could drive halfway across the province, and when you go back and forth to work, probably.
Holy. Yeah, that's it's great though. The farther you get away from other people, the more in touch with the realness of life you are, because you have to be more self-sufficient. You have, more time to form bonds with the people in your local group. Where in Toronto, it's just, we're very caring in Toronto, but we won't look at your eyes or your face until you're in distress, and then a few of us will really help out. So there is a good vibe, and people are just too busy to get engaged in politics, so they let their food be chewed for them by City Pulse 24, because we only have time for the headlines. Give me every story you've got now. Tell me the top stories. Don't tell me much. Just tell me the headlines. Just something so I know what I'm talking about when that conference call mentions it, and I don't have to act like I'm totally fucking aloof.
How can I fit in today?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know.
Which is ridiculous. Out here, it's a little different. I put up with that every day. Even my small staff here at the office in Moose Jaw, not even, the ranch is different. Whatever. I go south here.
Yep.
45 minutes. It's wide open. Nobody gives two fucks. But, just in town, it's kind of weird. Just from my perspective. You go to the office, I don't wear masks. I don't expect my staff to. We're a closed office. I don't invite you, and you don't come in. Nobody wears masks. If you're going to wear a mask in my office, you stay in the parking lot and call me.
Yep.
It's just the way it is.
My office wears masks. They go crazy because we handle like recordings and calls for people where they have to come in, and we have to promise that we're a safe environment that's government compliant. So I try and play ball. as much as I can, but my nose is always going to tuck out of my mask because I want to breathe fresh air. And my excuse is, I got a big head. My face is too big for this mask. Sorry, my nose came out, guys. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll pull it up
I always thought you were driving in a very small vehicle, but
that was it. It's my head is that big. It's not like a Jetta. That's funny, man. Because I give like such little thought to the rants, and then I post them because it's so low. You know, it's high efficiency. That's easier than sending like 30 tweets. Is to just rant for 2.5 minutes.
When you got everything in your head, just get it all out, right?
Yeah, or even when you don't, you just go surfing, and there's like, you know, for every one I will post, there's 3 where I'm like, what? No, you're not going to talk about fucking Super Mario 2. You know, keep the analogies on track. It's never-ending story, you know. But no, what do you think? The divide between East and West is huge, and the resentments are huge. And my logic is there is going to be a massive exodus of patriots from Ontario to the West, which is a good thing for you guys because the Liberals, it's not like California flooding to Texas, right? It's more sudden than that. We have been shocked by COVID. So there's going to be a massive number of people that are like, nope, the attitudes towards vaccines and government intrusion in our lives when you are polling people is much better in the West. So I'm going to live where the people aren't insane.
Yeah, it's true, but it's still the cycle of things. When I was in my teens, I remember people heading out to Ontario and Alberta. And it was 80% went to Alberta, 20% went to Ontario.
Yep.
So and that was because of economic times. Now we're both in economic and, well, I don't even know how to explain the one we're in now. It's truly fucked up. But
yeah, it's fucking the nuclear bomb went off. There will be no World War II where everything stops and we get onto a battlefield. It's now the battlefield is your house and your TV. It is legit an info war, and their strategy is clear. They want to banish us from the internet, so the people that they have control over will never have an argument to ever have to deal with, and that when they encounter us in real life, they'll go, oh, you're one of those people. The news tells me all about you. You're into that conspiracy culture that's been spreading online. You know, the news is one source. All of them say the same thing. The top story is always the same, right? They're one source, but it's 20 channels. And they have the nerve to call the internet, which is thousands of sources, oh, that's just one place where you go for conspiracy culture. Yeah, you know, that's such a lame argument. And the only answer to it is us all waking up and having the argument and not saying, you know what? I know that you've been conditioned to believe that, oh, talking politics is taboo. The stakes are too fucking high for you to say, oh, we don't talk politics because it's just not the right thing to do. It's like you can't hide behind that. Yeah, it's the only thing that matters. We're not going to... Paul Revere is not going to ride into town and go, let's go! We've declared war! You know? He's not, and he won't have an English accent being an American. But, it's not going to happen that way. It's happening now, and it's happening little 1,000 slices, death by 1,000 cuts. And it's like, no, stop letting them cut. Ow! Stop letting them cut us. Move your fucking arm away. You know, and until people do that, I'm not going to feel bad about being repetitive about themes. I'm like, you're peppered every fucking day. Even my closest relatives, when I leave them alone with Stephen Colbert too long, I come back to a fucking fresh zombie. I'm like, I thought we de-zombified you. I know he makes you laugh, but he's following a narrative set down by the one monolithic source of cable that tells everybody what to think. So yeah, the jokes on Saturday Night Live suck now because they're political and they're dancing for Moloch. Okay, everyone that made it somewhere in their lives gets approached by the CIA. Like, that's not... there's 400 in Project Mockingbird or Operation Mockingbird. Yeah. The CIA in the late 70s claimed on record they had 400 reporters on the take. Do you think they have less now? They had 400 in the 70s. How many do you think they have now? And what was the cover for a CIA agent overseas? It's like, why is a white man walking around Zaire with 4 armed guards right now? Oh, I'm a reporter. That's why my camera's here. That's what this recorder is. You want to say hello? I'm a reporter. You know? And then these people are like Spider-Man taking photographs of himself. And it's, how does Peter Parker always get the best shots of Spider-Man? Well, he's CIA. And he is Spider-Man. And so, of course, the CIA is going to tip you off.
Alex?
Yeah.
Alex, you know what the worst part is?
What is it?
Is if you go to my old man's place at the ranch, and you look at the bottom of this TV, right?
Yeah.
CNN is burnt in. It's burnt into the TV.
Oh God!
Like the
banner
at the bottom.
Yeah.
No matter what channel you turn to, it's burnt in. It's there.
That is
and
so
I wonder
poetic.
how many around the country are like that. But that's my old man.
Oh,
right. So
poor guy. I know.
I come from a place with an NDP from Saskatchewan. You know, the old Tommy Douglas. Fuck, he's not dead enough guy.
Wow.
Eugenics.
Yeah.
You know, so when you see the CNN banner burnt into the bottom of your TV, I know it's going to take a long time to get those people out of that mix.
Yeah, you're right. It's I don't know, man. We have a great cause. The only problem we have is that it requires effort and people do not want to do anything ever. It's that decadence of, I've done enough. Society's already designed to kill me. I've already got a divorce. I only see my kids this often. Look, man, life has hit me pretty fucking hard. Asking me to come out on a Saturday for an anti-lockdown protest is a bridge too far with me, bro. That's like most people. And it's like, okay,
yes, it is.
Then don't blame me. I was trying to get you out of your pod, but you're like, no, I'm having steak. I'm at a steakhouse in the Matrix, and I don't want to come with you to Zion where there is no steak. There's just gruel there. And I'm like, okay, but I did my part. I'll be able to sleep at night. When the grandchildren gather around, if I'm so lucky, and they say, Pop, 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 what happened? Why did the Great Collapse happen in Ontario? I'm like, ooh, before we all moved west of Thunder Bay, there was a great collapse where everyone wished to get into their pods and accept universal basic income. It led to a drastic decrease in will to live and purpose. And much like the lessons of history that weren't heeded, they collapsed. And now we in the West look to them and say, oh my gosh, I hope they're okay, but I'm sure not going back. That's what's going to happen, dude. And I'll be able to sleep.
Well, here's the other thing. You know, the kids around here that are under, let's say 30, they get it. They get it.
Oh, yeah.
They're like saying, fuck this. Well, a few of them that they were lazy, whatever, you see them, but you always have those. It's what do you call those ones in between the Xers?
In between the Xers? Millennials?
Millennials, that's it.
Zoomers.
Those millennial kids.
Yep.
Who do you call the Zoomers? What are those age groups?
I think they're younger than millennials. I think they're like another 20 years younger. I don't know if it goes in 20 years for generations. I mean, generations are much shorter for Muslims who are like on their second litter by the time they're 33.
See, the millennials. There's some poor batch of fuckers around here anyway. They're about 30 to 42.
Yep.
That are absolutely worthless. Scared little bastards. I'm going, what are you guys worried about? Where'd you come from? Oh, I come from a small town over here. I'm going, well, did they not teach any principles about how to live and what free life was like? You come to the city and all of a sudden you're a fuck up. It was almost that simple out there.
Yeah.
For Christ's sakes. You know, Saskatchewan's a very small place. So I know where you come from. I probably know your neighbors.
Yep.
And
no, I hear
they
you.
come to town and they're going, and I'm going, what are you doing? Like, you know, 3 years ago when you still live in the small town, you were a free bastard running wild in the hills, and you come here and now you're a submissive little punk.
I know.
Jesus.
I know. When you live amongst a higher density of people, you start making compromises to freedom for harmony, right? And you think, if we all just compromise this,
blend in.
Yep.
I'll just blend in. I'll just be good. No, you won't. You're going to be a dick.
Yep. No, I don't know, man. I love where I live, and I love my roots, and I love Toronto people, and I love people in the West, man. It's very easy to coexist with people when you don't talk politics, right? And Dan Bongino said a good thing. He said, the right looks at the left as good people with bad ideas, and the left looks at the right with like bad people with ideas.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? They have a visceral emotional hatred to us because that's what's been programmed into them to avoid debate. They have spent their whole lives not thinking about things that are uncomfortable because there's always a path of least resistance fork in the road where it's like, don't be racist. If you think this way, you'll be racist. Because a lot of communists call you racist if you think about tough things.
From my point, looking at my friends down in your country there in Ontario, there's a third thing.
Yep.
There's also a point that if I agree to your point of view, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And it may lead to something that I have to pull myself out of and interject. They're going to get out of their fucking gravy trains. And that's who Wayne was tonight.
Right? Oh, that's who Wayne lives that way. Wayne lives that way. We ain't changing Wayne, but I hope we can.
And so do I. And so do my really expensive and really rich friends in Ontario mm-hmm. live that way. And I'm going, you guys have to change your way of thinking. Or you guys just playing the game, because I can't. We don't live that way here.
Yeah.
I can't live the lie. You guys live the lie, right? Because you got old money. You got old money from 1800, whatever. I don't. You know, my grandparents come here in 1912. You know, homesteaders.
Yeah.
You guys have been here since, I don't know, 1780, 1812, or whatever the fuck they come from. Slave traders, basically, is what they were. They did have slaves, but they're good people. They were good liberals that had card-carrying liberals that, you know, that understood the goodness for the humanity and understood the West, understood, you know, everything we talk about is good. And then they're going, well, it's all blowing up on us. And I said, yeah, because you keep believing the people under a name and not under, how should I say? They're putting their words before their actions.
Mm-hmm. No, you know I hear you, man. I hear you. And
they've lost their way.
No.
And I feel for them because they don't know what to do down there. You know, sitting up at fucking French and whatever in the Muskokas, and they're going like, fuck me. This is awful. I'm going, well, what do you think? What do you think could happen when you vote that way?
Yeah, they're downstream from their own choices and they don't like it. And that's what I also think is...
Yes.
What is it? Crisis does the job that rhetoric can't. Okay? Churchill was calling out Hitler for 10 years. No one wanted to listen to him. Everyone wanted to elect Chamberlain. Chamberlain was the talking guy. We'll talk this out. The diplomatic solution exists. Right? And so... he goes and talks to Hitler, and Hitler's been breaking promises left and right. You should have seen a trail of him breaking treaties and promises, just doing things in an efficient and cunning way, like Churchill was telling you the whole time. And he was saying, like, 3 years beforehand, he's like, Mr. Hitler has started his war industry, which takes 4 years to get into full swing. In 1 month, he'll be churning out 200 Messerschmitts a month. Well, we still have an output of 20. You know, he was fucking calling everything out like Max did. So the evidence of reality started matching Churchill's rhetoric, and at the exact moment where they were at the event horizon, to misuse a term probably, they said, let's turn back. Let's go with Churchill, because Hitler swallowed Europe. And you holding this piece of paper, Chamberlain, going, there'll be peace in our time. He won't touch Czechoslovakia. Or I'm told he'll just take Czechoslovakia. And then he's done. You know? And it's like, your piece of paper means shit, and that's what CPC is offering you. You'll have Trudeau out of power in our time. It's like, okay, but then what happens? You guys are still doing all the shit that flies the plane into the mountain. You don't pull up enough to avoid the fucking mountain. So that reality could not be lost on people at this point, because that's why I scream about never let it be normalized that vaccines are being mandated. That they're going to force you into vaccines. That Zuckerberg has been funding studies that slammed hydroxychloroquine. The Chan Zuckerberg Initiative supported a study called the Recovery Project that was Peter Horby at Oxford University released a study that backed up Sepan Desai's fake study that claimed hydroxychloroquine causes a 25% increase in mortality when you give it to patients because it's really making their hearts stress. Even though it's been in use for 70 years and you've seen no such data along the way and it's used by tens or hundreds of fucking millions, we're going to come along and release a fake study that says it's killing them. And then Peter Horby at Oxford backs up that study. Who funded it? Bill and Melinda Gates and the Chan Zuckerbergs. And so you know he's got direct knowledge of what's happening in these sciences. So for him to be caught by Project Veritas saying, we don't know the long-term effects on the DNA of an RNA vaccine, that should be your fucking, hello, billboard, you're on a conveyor belt into a slaughterhouse. All you have to do is step to the fucking side. Step to the side, and you don't go into a slaughterhouse. And all you got to do to step to the side is vote PPC. So that's what I'm telling people. It's like, the worst thing I'm telling you is that you have to vote and put out some energy to get awareness for PPC. So that's the worst thing you got to accept in our world. In CPC world, you got to wake up every day to like a black and white reality where you're just like, Trudeau, we're going to get him. It won't be that bad. Maybe Aaron will be better. You know?
No,
they have to live that way in a negative world where they're not even trying. In their world, it's like, just put your feet up. They'll switch the votes for us in Frankfurt if we're nice enough to the Matrix. The Matrix will take care of us.
Yeah, anybody that lets Aaron O'Toole still be leader.
Yeah.
Trust him.
No, exactly.
I just can't. Because back last year at this time, it wasn't long after this, whenever they shut the hockey down here, right? I was standing in the rink watching the midgets girls play here in town, and they said this will be the last game, and I'm going, what? Well, I read all about this already. This goddamn thing coming on here, this virus. Talked to some people in the lobby, and I'm going, already read about this. Yeah, 2005, patented.
Oh yeah,
Fauci
and Fauci talking about it and how hydroxychloroquine works wonders.
And this is last year at this time. And everybody just looks at me and going, Les, I don't even want to discuss that with you right now. And I'm going, okay, you got a long ways to go, and I'll catch you in a year or so.
Yeah.
And I'm going, so I've lived this whole year, like, through this shit, picking up more information and more of this stuff. Not just about the virus. And then it leads you to the other things, right? But
no, but you weren't learning, dude. You were just participating in a dangerous conspiracy culture. You know what I mean? That's what they're telling people. That's the next phase for how no one will talk to us. Because the normalization of don't talk to these people. They're conspiracy culturalists. It's like, fuck off. Yeah. You know, like we were learning about it. I was worried. I was scared shitless in March and February. Because I assumed the virus was as being shown by China. They're spraying the fucking air? Like, what? They're spraying the streets? People are dropping dead. People are being put in vans and loaded up. What a psyop that was, dude. What a psyop. Who could blame me for spending $300 to get 10 masks that never showed up? They never showed up. And I was freaking out because I had to go to San Diego in March when my job used to be doing audiovisual in hotels where I could travel and it was, better. Even doing hotels in Toronto, I like going to different hotels, and now they're turned into like either refugee camps or COVID gulags. So it's like I've been through the fearful phase when it was warranted, when it was like 1 in 4 could fucking die from this. And then it gets to 1 in hundreds of thousands, which is exactly comparable with the flu. And now it's like, wear 2 masks, dude. You should wear 2 masks. I'm like, where were you when I was like crying at the Sobeys checkout going, you fucking poor fuckers don't have masks. You're all gonna fucking die. When we thought they could die. And then all of a sudden the ball gets switched, dude. They move the goalposts. They just moved the goalposts and they're like, nope, we got to stop the spread. Didn't you see how high the case numbers are? We got to stop the spread now. It's like, what? Spread of what? You told us it was for hospital beds. The hospital beds are exactly comparable to what they've been every year. And it puts us in a dangerous spot because, first of all, if for them to admit they're wrong at this point would make them liable to be tried for crimes against humanity. Because you know what? Why did you take hydroxychloroquine off the market? How many people died between the time you told us we couldn't use it and now when we know they could have been treated? If you know that the severity of COVID is based on viral load, don't you understand that putting people in nursing homes where they share a circulated air system with weakened immune systems is the natural breeding ground for COVID, and they'll get high viral load by being in there? That should be a time where you're like, we'd like all old folks to go home with their family, kind of stay in the basement a bit, and just be with your family, but not be sharing all this air with other people that have compromised immune systems.
So let's step out of that echo chamber for a minute.
Sure.
When do you think the actual switch is going to happen, and the dime's going to flip on these people?
It's totally dependent on if enough people wake up in enough numbers on time. Right?
So
if we can normalize this, like, I hate being repetitive. I'd love to talk about a variety of different subjects, but we have to normalize opposing mandatory vaccines. And the best way to do that is to destroy the normalization that a plague exists when you make them defend their PCR scandal. If they can't, like, the best article I saw on the PCR scandal was some, I don't know what university he was from, but he was from a university. He was like, here's what people don't understand. It's all fake news about this PCR cycling. What you got, here's a line from a Sherlock Holmes story. Now, if I just give you the middle segment of this sentence, it doesn't make sense. But when I run cycles, it'll run a combination of other possible sentences that it could match up with. So he gave the illusion that the more cycles, you're getting more accuracy, which is opposite of what's true. What's true is every time you cycle it, you double the number of samples. So it exponentially goes up. I don't know if exponentially, but by the time you're at 40, I know I'm not just for you, but just for anyone. But so when you get these cycles up, you're looking at gibberish by the time you get to 30 cycles even. Even Fauci himself is on record saying the 33 cycles is nonsense. You can't trust a setting from that. So when we demand, when the restrictions are so harsh, you cannot sustain them without defending the veracity of your data. The data should be sacred. We should have entire news episodes dedicated to how are we getting the data? How do we justify the accuracy? When you're using different cycles at one lab and another, do they adjust for that when they tell us about case numbers? Or what about when you get tested positive? We've looked into whether you actually have COVID-19 or one of the other group of coronaviruses. There's no journalistic thirst in the right areas that would educate people, so we have to do it over and over. Yeah, exactly. Fucking Mark Friesen has to win journalism awards while he manages his own family business and is a patriot donating his time to activism on the side. You know what I mean?
Mark.
It's a travesty of journalism that Mark has to do it.
Yep. No. I understand the whole COVID reality. It's an absolute travesty. I understood it back in March of last year.
Yep.
Because I had a lot of prior knowledge of other research on it that came from October of 2019, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was one guy that broke that pretty early, and started talking about it in about December on the internet. And so we did some research on that, and we found out it was probably correlated. So you hear about from the Winnipeg lab. You've heard about the Winnipeg lab and the Wuhan games.
And the spies that took Ebola and SARS virus and smuggled it back to China. What the fuck?
Fort Detrick and all that shit. Yep.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe you can tell me about that.
Yeah, the theory
is that what the lab is? Fort Detrick that they were at?
Fort Detrick. Yeah, Fort Detrick in the United States actually helped them. How do they call that?
Oh, the States connection. I thought you were... Okay, so the Winnipeg lab one is R2.
Yep.
If you want to find the spies in Canada, look at who we give, like, Orders of Canada to and, like, science awards.
Yeah, no.
Because that leads to the criminals. And these two, this couple from China, who are, dangerous virus experts, who are at our level 4 lab, smuggled 2 dangerous viruses. Why call it level 4? It seems like that would be a maximum security prison for viruses, but it seems like it's a level 1 lab that gets like a day pass. Oh, the Ebola's got a day pass. He's going to Applebee's for the day. So when this happens, the news just insults the intelligence of its entire viewership of CBC covering it and goes, oh, it's an internal matter with the lab, so they said they can't discuss it. What? You can't discuss it? It's not criminal? You're not under arrest and being held as leverage for the Chinese to get our citizens back? You're just saying, they can't work here anymore. I hope you know that we almost suspended their pay, but they're not able to come into work anymore. Because after all, it's a level 4 lab. Like, fuck off.
Hey, Alex, here's the deal. Those 2 people were taken back to China.
Mm-hmm.
The CSIS officer that discovered it is now in jail.
Really?
Yes,
okay, sorry. Go on. Repeat that. The CSIS officer that discovered
it is in jail.
For what? Breaching confidentiality of an ongoing case.
Do not know. Go look it up. It's right in the open. It's out in the public.
Oh, I believe you. Man, That's insane.
Good
Yeah,
thing
the
you gotta look
Matrix
at
punishes
where
those.
that transfer of the virus went. And as far as some other sources went, it went to Fort Detrick, and then it went to the Wuhan, and then it went to the Wuhan Games, October 19th, and then back into North America. Primarily through, well, Italy was a big hit, but
Yeah.
that's how they spread it. Was that October 19 Wuhan Games.
Oh, I remember that.
So
yeah.
it's a real virus, and I don't think it's really deadly. Who cares? But it's just another flu, and then they just took it and run with it.
But how dangerous is it now that these politicians can be saved by their Chinese masters if their Chinese masters release another deadlier virus to help them? Because then they can sell it as, we told you guys you shouldn't be running around freely. You know? This is your fault. It's not that China helped us out by unloading a more deadly virus to prove us right.
That's
the most dangerous part of all of this. It's why they had to. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming.
Here where I live,
Yep.
it's going to be, if we don't have spring baseball, nobody survives this political.
Oh, yeah.
They're done. Fuck.
No, I hear you, man.
It's over.
Well, we've got to reach a critical mass. There's two races going on. The race for them to completely destroy our freedom, and the race of enough of us waking up that there won't be a gulag big enough to contain all of us. Right? Whoever hits that first. If we can keep fighting the evil normal, the new normal is too positive of a term. It needs to be more pejorative. The evil normal that we're fighting for the good normal in the normal wars is going to be lost if we don't keep screaming at the top of our lungs. And when people like, please check the video resolution. I don't know. Hold on. It's telling me some shit. Okay. But you tell me what you think we need to do to wake up enough people in the Patriot Club. I think the crisis is doing it. I think it's already set in motion, but I don't want to be taking any chances with some like huge task of taking down the establishment, right? It needs everyone awake. And once we get enough people on board, we still have to secure the election process. None of this means anything if we don't secure the election process and we're in the hands of the Dominion system. And if we're not, if they say, no, that's only for choosing the leadership of your little parties, I'm sure it's something worse. There's not just bad things we know about. There's bad things we don't fucking know about yet. And they're the worst ones, probably. Do you know what I mean? When people are still living in the age where you give things benefit of the doubt. No, now you should give things penalty of the suspicion. It needs to be replaced because you can't give bad actors benefit of the doubt anymore. Well, you know what? I just assume that Elections Canada has their act together at this point. No, you're an idiot. You're going to walk us right into the slaughterhouse. It does take work, but it is reassuring that it's not hard work.
Well, yes, a whole bunch of questions there.
Yep.
The first one, I live in a place that will be fine.
Yep, I'm sure.
Because we're big and we're open. We don't have much problems here. We got a fucked up premier. I know Mo's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, they're all fucked up.
Guideline. Right from day one, he's followed the fucking paperwork. You guys down east are going to have a really hard time of digging out of this.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to say it. You are. And it's just because it's so ingrained and your population has been so watered down with fucking, like I say, watermelon heads that'll just vote for that, $2,000 check.
Yep.
What happens daily around Ontario.
Oh, for sure.
It's sad to see a once great province fucking hit the graveyard like that. It's sad.
No, it won't. Like, I think there's a backfire. There's things that we are so black-pilled on that we don't realize that there are a lot of new Canadians that Trudeau banked on wanting free money for their whole lives, so they'll be perpetually locked in a cycle of voting Liberal. I think even new Canadians know tyranny better than old stock. I'm old stock. Pass me the Labatt 50. I'm old stock. I watch the Matrix News every night, and I have a Southern American accent. But old stock people are proving themselves to be not as reliable as new stock Saudi Arabians, new stock Iranians, Indians. These people know tyranny.
That right, eh?
Well, dude, I'm banking on it. Like, it's, what's Churchill quote? I'm always an optimist. It makes no sense to be anything else.
It's your reality. I don't know it.
No. They're very good. They're very patriotic people in the bigger scheme, and I think Trudeau underestimated them, thinking that they'll just vote for their free $50,000 a year for their family and, subsidized housing and every advantage he can give them because, we designed our society to hate them, apparently. So I think they see that the matrix is closing and that forced injections from Bill Gates, an avid Epstein Islander, is not a great idea. And that the only way out is PPC. Like, we're in the unique position where we're selling vacuums in the crumb era. There's a lot of crumbs around, and no one else has a vacuum. And there's no broom, and there's no dustpan. So, analogy saved without the broom and dustpan.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it very well could be. I don't know the real feel down there. All I hear is from, my friends.
Dude, Sam Harris had a good line. It's like, you could wander India for 1,000 years and your anecdotes won't add up to like one good pupil.
Yeah.
So my anecdotes of how I experience Ontario, like when people say, oh, I love Toronto, I'm like, yeah, so you landed in Toronto and turned right. Because if you turned left, you'd be saying, I hate Toronto. Or if you went straight north, you'd be saying, Toronto's okay. It's your experiences are so subjective and so not valuable in the grand scheme of the scale of problems we're talking about that I love them. They're interesting and they're a good way for us to pass the time. But it's not going to draw any conclusions on what we should do or what the attitudes of new Canadians are. I think that in large part, I'm going on what's plausible to me. They know about tyranny. They know about oppression. Why would you want to recreate that when you have a chance? Maxime proposes something that is so simple and secures rights for everyone that we can be completely different people, but we still agree on the really core shit, right? There's only some really core issues we need to deal with. Canada first, cut commitment to the UN, cut funding to CBC, cut the $700 million a year we're giving to cable news dinosaurs, let them die, let them be replaced. You can get a job in a fair-minded newsroom and make money on your own. You can chase clickbait headlines, or you can build trust like Lou Dobbs did. You know what I mean? Like, you can make it a freer market without subsidizing. And you have to realize that when you subsidize the media, you create Stalin. You create Stalin media when you subsidize the media. There's no way they're going to write a story that the editor that ensures that they all get $110,000 each salary from Canadian taxpayers on top of the pittance that needs to be paid after that subsidy by CTV or CBC. You know what I mean? Like, Orwell said, I think it's Orwell, I don't know, maybe it's not. He said, don't even make friends with people you're going to have to do journalism on because it biases you. So what the fuck do you think is going to happen when they pay your whole salary?
Alex,
when taxpayers do that?
Alex.
Yeah.
You forgot some of the biggest ones out here in Western Canada.
Oil resources,
carbon tax, pipelines.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Right. Fucking origins of labeling, marketing for cattle, those types of shit. Those are the big ones.
Of course, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm totally. There are like 10 core things that are addressed with PPC.
Those are the things in Ontario that get forgotten, and it's been like that for years. And I always remind my friends, how many years did you want this stuff? Like, we're old enough now, right? We're 50.
Mm-hmm.
We've been thinking about it now for what, 25 years, 20 years, 30 years. Whatever your mind would let you do when you weren't, chasing around girls and drinking beer.
Mm-hmm.
And now you go, holy shit, this doesn't add up. Yep. What do you need? Well, who are you voting for? Well, going to do that. Well, it's insanity again. Insanity. So if we don't get this election right, and we don't like it out here, there's going to be a big push for fuck the East. Fuck them.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm. Go on.
It's going to happen, and with all the things that's been happening in the States and in the world that we see now that's coming to light, there's more people going to say, yeah, we got to do this. It's the only thing that's going to, make sense. Let's join, who knows? Just take Saskatchewan, Alberta, parts of, Manitoba's okay. Well, Northern Ontario maybe. And get on with life.
Oh, yeah. It'll balkanize.
The rest of it is. The people will go, no more.
Mm-hmm.
It's third time around, maybe?
Yep. No, I know,
third
man.
Time?
And the key is, for Wexit, I don't want to focus on it too much because it's inevitable if we don't save Canada, right? But I think that there is one battle left where we have enough, where this virus hasn't genocided enough of the elderly who tend to be more right-leaning, right? Because they like the old way. They are very familiar with how life used to be. So they're still in contact with old norms, a.k.a. good norms, where, gender differences weren't looked on as a sign of rampant inequality. It was like, no, women are very compassionate and we should care for them. They are fair maidens and we will run into spear walls and bayonets for them. There was very healthy social norms. And as you progress, I find that these people, they just go up. The first step is have children to reproduce. Second step is defend your local group, those who are like you, insider group, against outsider groups. If you don't do this, you will be annihilated by more violent other groups. So you do that. You say, yep, we're an in-group and we have an identity that we share and we'll defend each other. So that's the nationalism. And then the next one after that is a good constitution that we all agree to support. The next one after that is, I don't know, but it goes up and up and up. And the leftists get lost on step 30 and they forget how crucial the original steps were. And they're like, no, step 2 was racist. Take it out. And it's like the Jenga tower just collapsed. No, but we're still going. We're still building. We're still going up to step 44. And step 44 is going to take out step 3 because, defending people's violent and it shows your inherent whiteness and xenophobia. Oh, okay, so you remove this one. The tower has long ago fallen, but you're still running away up there, building a tower to nothing that isn't a tower. It's just in your mind. And it's just these racists. If we can just purge them all, then everything will work out just like my brain says, because I'm a fucking liberal. I think I knocked out your Zoom connection with the rant there, but
no, are you back in?
No, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, and for that rant out here, we say, what? Because every day it's the same.
Yep.
Right? There's no difference between all that shit. We just look at that and go, what in the actual fuck are they talking about? Honest to God.
Yeah.
Right? There's a few in Regina and Saskatoon that Mark puts up with, and but on the greater good out here that I deal with, we're all whatever.
You guys are much more in touch with the early steps, and you're like, look, no one said it was fair. No one said life was fair, guys. But when you live in close proximity to many other people, you start considering. You're like, oh, maybe there'd be less crime if we understood our inherent society was created to disenfranchise the Native Indian, was created to disenfranchise the black. Yes, it's our fault. It's very easy to sell that to people instead of asking, and it's sold to them at emotional blackmail gunpoint. It's like, wait, we're looking for anti-racists, okay? So let me just start off by saying, if you want to be anti-racist, accept my following premises. This society was created, it was shit, we stole land, and if we didn't conquer this land, the native Indians would be in flying cars spreading world peace throughout the world, and the Spaniards would not have taken over and pillaged everything and just made it the same way Central America and South America is. They never see the plus side to anything we did. When the British went into India and doubled people's lifespans and brought them forward centuries in culture, with Viceroy Kitchener visiting an interior town, and the Indian says, oh, I'm sorry, we are going to burn the woman alive. She has committed adultery. And then Viceroy Kitchener is just like, okay, follow your custom. It's our custom to hang men that burn women alive. Let us both follow our customs then. Oh. And then they're like, fuck, okay, no more burning women alive. And now what do we have? We have Indians that are just forward centuries. They're doctors. They're embracing Westernism. Because the golden age of India was when it was a territory of Britain. Sure, it wasn't fair. Colonialism isn't fair. They already had a fucking caste system where a quarter of their country is called untouchables. Jesus Christ, we didn't walk in on people, discovering insulin. And that's not racist. Okay, so everyone that's got that trigger reaction, what is he, a Western superiorist, man? Oh, fuck, no, dude. No, that's the reality of life, guys. I'm not British, I'm Canadian. But we were settled by British, and everyone, if you look back in their history, I'll tell you this, Native Indians, if they caught you walking between villages, you were in pilgrim times, they were not going to be very nice to you. Okay, there's a story of the War of 1812 where a bunch of Americans were captured and they were high-level officers. I think it was something about like Valentine's Town or like the Valentine Massacre or something like that. Something with Valentine or Hearts in it. And they were after the battle because the British had like 400 Indian volunteers with Tecumseh going along with Sir Isaac Brock. And they had these American generals, not generals, but colonels and such, sitting by the fire, and they were taking them as prizes to bring back to their fucking tribe. And sitting around the fire, one of them starts going into a tirade and getting all excited. And he's not speaking English, so they don't know what's happening. And it's a diary of another American officer who is sitting in this circle captured by these Indian war party. They could have been from anywhere. Tecumseh was like the Braveheart of the Indians that took a ton of different Indians to come help the British. So during this guy's tirade, he takes his tomahawk and looks at his prisoner and just fucking whacks him on the collarbone with the tomahawk. And the dude like leans over on the dude telling the story. The guy's like written in his diary. He's looking into his eyes, tied up, freaking out. And I'm just telling him, just let go, as he's hacked to death by an Indian. You know what I mean? Like, we're not allowed to talk about brutalities of anyone from back in the day except the British, except ourselves. And so we've done it so much that I sound like a Western chauvinist if I talk about it.
Western who?
Yeah. Western chauvinism, baby.
Western chauvinism. Well, welcome to the West, brother.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Anyways. No, we're just a little... we're a little, how do you say, agitated, maybe.
Oh, of course. With good reason, man.
Discontent.
Mm-hmm. You're not appreciated. Your wealth is sucked out, and you're told you have no say in Parliament.
Actually, we don't give a fuck who appreciates us, right? We're good here. Just leave us the hell alone.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We will produce what we will produce. And everybody else will expect it. We're not about the praise. We just go to work.
Mm-hmm. I hear you, man.
That's the thing. And when somebody puts down regulations and other stuff to stop us going to work, that's when we get angry.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this generation is going to put up with it because my generation's seen it the last time it happened. We were kids when it happened.
Nothing like this has happened, though. Nothing like COVID has ever happened, bro.
Oh, fuck the COVID.
Yeah,
I'm
no, but
about the reality of the economy. I'm looking past the COVID. The COVID's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. It's just another excuse to bring down everything.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, there's no deaths. You know that, the PCR.
But it's working, though. They're working. They've established a beachhead. They're creating a new normal. If we don't get out in the streets and everyone empties out at one time, and we show the government that we won't accept the new normal, it will be slowly imposed on us. We will be slowly rooted out of society. The web lords will make sure that our opinions are not heard.
Yep.
Yep.
And I will slowly move back to my place in the hills.
Mm-hmm. I know, and it's sad, right?
I will just go back from humanity because, I live in this small town. There's 38,000 people here. And I think most of them are fucking retarded because they just can't see past what they're wearing on their face. Mm-hmm. I'm going, Jesus Christ, guys. Wake up.
I know.
But look at our kids all play together. They go to the schools, they hang out at the rinks together. And you can't see past this. No.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I was in the mall with my kids with their masks off, and I had mine kind of below my nose, and I took it off while I was having a juice. from one of those fucking fruit juicer places. And then,
Yeah.
and no one really gave me too many looks. I was getting a few looks because I was wearing shorts and I have a giant raspberry burn from sliding in soccer on AstroTurf. So I was getting a few looks at the leg. But I found when everyone's moving in the mall, they don't have time to congregate and discuss with each other like, hey, look at him. Look at that guy. I'm serious. Look. You know? But when they do have time to congregate and do that, when you stick around too long in Canadian Tire and the employees get together and go, can you fucking believe this guy? Do you believe it? I know. You watch the case numbers, right? They're so fucking high. It's because of this guy. He's breathing on everyone. You know? And they take him out.
Yeah.
So the key is not to stay long. There was someone that said something to me in a dollar store in the mall last time mass craziness was going on. And what was it? She's like,
yeah.
She goes, you got to pull up your mask. She says, you have to pull up your mask. I'm like, no. They just released a new bylaw. That's only when you're within 6 feet of someone do you have to put up your mask. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, keep going, guys. Let's buy our shit. You know? And by the time they check their phone, you're fucking in the bulk barn. You know, trying to lie on someone else. But yeah, it's fun being a rebel. There was a real good sweet spot, though, where everything was open, but no one was allowed to travel to Canada. And I'm like, okay, kids, we're going to the CN Tower. And there's no fucking lineups, and it's just like a ghost town.
Perfect.
And me and the kids are going up the CN Tower, and everyone's still acting like normal, no masks, no nothing. And we're like, fuck, yeah, the twilight before the Gulag era.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know what we're going to do out here, but it's going to be spring's coming in Saskatchewan, and if there's shit happening.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have purpose, bro. We have purpose. I mean, we're facing chaos with purpose. Okay?
No, there isn't. There's just going to be a natural swell of good people out here saying, yeah, fuck off. And they're going to get on with their life, but they won't push hard. That's the thing. That's the bad thing. That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You have purpose and you have to do something. But it's not impossible. Like what I'm saying is, our grandparents had to run into trenches and take bullets. We have to knock on doors. That's it.
No, I'm not talking about the political movement. I'm talking about this. First of all, this COVID movement is on everybody's fucking agenda, right? If you don't solve this, nobody has a political movement.
That's what I'm saying. But the two are linked. There's a political party that doesn't want you to walk through the Orwell slaughterhouse.
No, nobody sees it yet. So
what am I saying? I'm saying that our war is knocking on doors, and it's a lot better fate than our grandfathers that had to run in across minefields over barbed wire, right? So I'm like, once people get that, if we can spread that message, like, guys, it's not hopeless. You don't have to be a fucking depressed person drinking way too much alcohol because the government wants to keep you sedated, much like Caesar wanted to keep the Gauls sedated, so he gave them free wine from Rome, right? Want to keep them all just drunk and passed out. It's okay to party. I'm not infringing on anyone's rights to fucking have fun and do what they want. Have a glass of scotch with your boy at a barbecue that you shouldn't be having. You know, go do it. But we can't be sedated like they want us to be sedated. You have to be comfortable with, hey, when my PPC candidate appears, I am going to trust Max that he did a good selection process. Hey, we'll blame him if he picks bums, okay? And there should be some sort of process, perhaps, where you have a town hall with your PPC volunteers to make sure that you pass the muster for what they expect of you, right? If you're going to knock on doors for someone, you should at least have a meeting with them where you're like, hey, you're never going to fucking meet with lobbyists privately, you promise? You're never going to, you know what I mean? You should have a phase where you get to prepare them for populism and make sure that they're good enough. And if they're not, you go to Max and you're like, please pick someone else. Please pick this guy that you were thinking about, but he said some shit online. Not me, by the way. I like saying every forbidden word, and I like defending people without having to be polite. You know what I mean? And I think politicians should be polite and they should be controlled and more measured and reasonable. So I'll work my ass off for my local. And I did last time. She was a great candidate. A bit of a QAnon believer, but like I've said, they're great human beings. And what's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene is a QAnoner in D.C., and she is by far the most valuable American in Congress. I think she's a congressman. Ross, are you still in the chat? You could tell me that. She's not a senator. I think she's a congresswoman. But she's her and Boebert and a few people in D.C. There's probably 8 people in all of D.C. that are really legit Trumpers that are not, they're against the Matrix. And one of them's a QAnon believer. It does not disqualify you. QAnon was just a patsy grooming operation to make sure that they could blame the Capitol Hill riots on crazy people that went to that internet. Didn't we tell you, stay away from the internet, listen to your TV? You know? But I don't know. That rant got off into American stuff. But that's going to happen to us, bro. We have to learn. We have to watch what they're doing in America to smear and make people fall for fantastic little rabbit holes to go down. And it's like, oh, look, Castro is Trudeau. Trudeau is Castro. Look how bad Trudeau is. Look at the Uyghur genocide. Forget that they genocided all of the world's elderly. It's the fucking ones in the west of China that we should be mad at, because that lets conservatives sound tough without opposing their masters. You know? Yeah, we can repeat this stuff and stop the normalization of red herrings that are designed to make us settle for CPC. Populism, brother.
How did the Q movement make people settle for Donald Trump in 2016?
Settled? No, they didn't make him settle. Q Operation was a psychological operation by John Brennan to pretend that military intelligence had such a grasp on the situation that they could afford to cryptically leak out horoscope-like all this kind of info from the inside. Don't worry, trust the plan, stay seated, we've got it all locked down. And that makes people do one thing: stop researching, stop looking into stuff, chase our rabbit, or trust that we have control of the NSA. They never had control of the NSA. If they had control of the NSA, if Q was real, they'd need to have the signal intelligence, and they'd need to have all this kind of stuff. They never had it because Mueller's team got to destroy all their phones and pretend like once we destroyed the phones, all the data just went up into the ether. The NSA captures all that data. We fucking know that. So if your NSA is not coming out going, guys, we have all the data right here. We went in the Wayback Machine and we found out that Robert Mueller was coordinating with Lisa Page, who he should never have been talking to, and she was saying, okay, make sure you say this. Make sure you investigate Manafort so he can't testify against our guy here. You know, they were coordinating and colluding the investigation to cover their own asses. And QAnon was sent out to pretend that they were military intelligence. And they said so many wrong predictions, and no one ever paid attention to the wrong predictions. They just pretended, oh no, they got it right. 17, 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 4, and the 4th year of Trump's presidency would add up to 7. And if you add in the 10 years that he was talking about China, you've got 17. Q said 17 on September 17th. I'm a moron now. And that's what Q was designed to do. And it was to groom patsies the same way Oswald was sent around by the CIA to like Russia and Cuba to make him look like a Russian asset. The same way he was set up to be a patsy, QAnon set up other people. Because what were they telling Oswald? You're doing this for us. Don't worry. You just sit on the 2nd floor of this book depository. You let Lyndon Johnston's personal bodyguard go up to the 6th floor, who's a master marksman who has already murdered someone in Texas. And LBJ has the Texas mob on his side. And 5 future presidents were in Dallas that day. I know it's conspiracy theory stuff, but Roger Stone talked about it. And I trust his opinion on this stuff. But it was a patsy grooming operation to make Oswald believe he was working for the good guys by pretending to be a Soviet asset. Similar stuff with Q. They groomed the fringe. On the day of the Capitol Hill attack, there was a FBI higher-up, ex-Navy guy too, who was leading the Q army. So they cultivate the ones that are most fringy and willing to go along with an operation to take it further. Hey, remember when we told you to trust the plan? Now you're part of it. We want you to come to Capitol Hill. I'll lead you in. We'll take the Senate by storm. Then a Black Hawk will fly in. They'll pick up Nancy Pelosi, and they've got everyone else. The rest of them are doppelgangers. You'll think that they're still in power, but they're not. You've been chosen, Q Master. And then the day of, they flood them all in. They push them right in the door, and the D.C. police lets them in. Oh, come on in, guys. We're really scared of this. And then the guy who told them to do it all says, you know what? I didn't tell him to do anything. And they're all like, you know what? His word's good enough for me. They set people up. Q was the method. There's more than one use for Q. So after that all happened, I know now I'm not going to click on anything that's like, let's resist with violence. Let's do this. It's all fucking grooming operations to put you right in Bill Blair's trap. You know? They want us rounded up as extremists.
No, that's the most ridiculous fucking long rant I've ever heard.
And was it wrong?
No, you started wrong, but you ended up right.
Okay, where was I wrong?
I think you're wrong on the Q.
How
I think you're right on that QAnon.
Mm-hmm.
QAnon's nothing. That doesn't mean anything.
So what's Q? What am I wrong about?
I don't know. I don't know what Q is. Nobody does. Everybody reads it. Everybody knows what the fucking drops are. And most of it now...
Who knows what the drops are?
What do you mean, who knows? Have you read them?
Yeah. They said, trust Sessions. That was a bad call. They said, trust Huber. That was a bad call. Trust Horowitz. That was a bad call. Trust Graham. Trust Gowdy. Trust Barr. Trust Durham. Who, like, I could go on, fill a phone book with what Q was wrong about.
No.
So once it's wrong once, it's not a good source.
You also trust Max. You also trust O'Toole. You also trust Pierre.
Because there's evidence for putting faith in them.
Who cares? No, wait. There is evidence in the crimes that have been committed over the years. And that's what's been exposed to us. Now we can see them. Right?
Yep.
Did you know that before that? Between 2016, 2017?
Did I know what?
All the crimes, all the child trafficking, all the crimes with the money leaving the country, all the humanitarian aid that goes back to their buddies, all the bullshit that goes on.
Well, right? what if
you know that between that?
No, but it doesn't affect the argument. It doesn't. What's the problem is that Q is an anonymous source who never gets to suffer credibility blows when it's wrong because it's like, no, that was just someone pretending to be Q. I'm like, no, if it's a Pandora's box, 100%. Don't open it.
No. It's like everything else. Everything else is another anonymous source. Sources heard. We got good sources from the government. Well, fuck off. What is it? Let's see the real truth. So now we're starting to realize what might be truth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, just maybe, there might be some truth in this shit.
Oh, yeah, maybe there's truth in some of it. When you say everything, I'm not going to be surprised when you're right about some stuff.
Right.
So Q says everything.
I'm not saying Q's right about everything.
Yeah, but Q says everything, so you'll take from it what you like and not take from it what you don't like.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if it's what I like or what I don't like. I'm going to take...
Still doesn't make me wrong about Q, though.
No, there's nothing wrong about Q.
There we have it, folks.
If there is something good and some truth in what that Q movement back on the 8chan, 8chan that started, that we can put into today, there we go.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Because it leaves people very susceptible to disinformation operations.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No. Why it does? Why? It's like the news today.
Because they tell you something that is about a child trafficking ring in Haiti, and you go, "Oh, this Q's right." Yeah. I mean, I just saw an article that confirmed a Hillary-linked person was trying to smuggle 30 kids out of Haiti. Maybe this Q thing's pretty good. Then the next thing they say is Max Bernier is a compromised asset, and you're like, "Oh, Max Bernier is a compromised asset." Oh, and so it has very dire consequences to being anonymous.
Like I've seen on the chance that Aaron O'Toole is a compromised asset. So big deal.
No, but the evidence of his actions shows that. I don't need Q for that. Like, I follow sources that have been good. I don't
listen. It's just another place to go look. I'm not looking to you or Mark or the Global News.
I don't want you to.
The guy on Twitter. I follow all avenues.
All right. Well, then you're going to spend a lot of time barking up trees that could be completely 180 wrong info, and that if you follow. What I'm saying is Q offers a romantic wrapping for people that are not entertained by mundane facts. Right? It's a very you're the center of a Tom Clancy novel, and it's a choose your own adventure, and it's like it offers all of this whimsy that doesn't happen in a John Solomon article or Andy McCarthy article or Chuck Ross or, like I can make better predictions than Q based on reading really good sources. And when those sources are wrong, I stop trusting them in that slice of pie. I don't discard them. I say, John Solomon's really good about this, but his opinion on Pompeo not declassifying Department of State stuff before he left was kind of a little too harsh. So maybe I'll say when I read his stuff, he's got a little bit of bias against fucking guys that went to West Point. You know what I mean? Like subconsciously you'll make those changes. But that's a source that I can go to and correct. When it's Q, it's like shake the 8 ball. Trust Sessions. Okay.
No, the fucking Sessions. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that.
See, so we do agree. So that's good. But I totally get that. My problem with the child trafficking rings and that stuff is what if they're guilty of it, but they know you can't prove it, so they would love you to become obsessed with it so you don't bark up the trees that will really get them arrested. I say this to my right-wing friends. I got right-wing friends that blame Jews for a lot. Okay? They blame Jews for a lot, and I try and tell them, I'm like, if what you're saying is true and there's a Jewspiracy at the center of the... Pardon?
Don't be a Jew show.
No, I'm not. I'm a pro-Jew show. I'm pro-Jew. But
here's what
when I talk to them...
I like about Q.
Okay, here's what you like about Jew.
About Q.
Go ahead.
No, Q.
I know.
Here's what I like about Q is that they get people thinking about other ways to, think about things. That's it.
Yeah, so does cocaine.
Wow.
Yeah, I went there. I compared Q to cocaine, bro. No. I just think... I think that the Jews control everything. I'm kidding. I just want to segue back to the Jew point I was making. I argue with far-right people that do blame the Jews for a lot, and I say, if your theory holds true and there's a concentration of power at the top that is exclusively Jewish, that disproves the theory that all Jews are bad because it's just a very few Jews. Okay?
Why are you talking about Jews?
You're very averse. Whenever I mention Jew, you're like, what the... Are we being taped right now? Don't offer your opinion. I'm totally fine if you don't want to offer your opinion on this. But I'm saying when people have a miscommunication that all Jews are bad and that there's this dynamic where all are bad and they don't really think all are bad. But I say if you believe this, that there's a pyramid structure where all the power is at the top, that would mean that there's a very fucking few Jews that you have a problem with. So why would you say that any deal with Israel? Yes, Israel's compromised with Bibi at the top, who was the first one to say, we accept Biden. Biden's great. I'm like, what? Trump just put fucking the embassy back in Jerusalem, dude. You should be Trump to the bone. And you should be like, we're not going to ratify this until you guys sort it out in the Senate and Mike Pence does his job. So they could have done that if they were good players. But that's still a very small number of Jewish people. Overall, Jews are really awesome people. So we're done talking about it, but my original correlation to that was long ago forgotten when you first transitioned back to Q. Q to Jew in 0 to 60. Talk about Q. I love your revulsion to that topic shift. I never knew it was so strong, bro.
I lost you at Jew.
I know you did. You went into like fucking...
so fucked.
Huh?
That when everybody talks about Jews, it's like, who's the fuck's a shill on
so
this?
You've got to... I don't care. I've told you I debate them to convince them that that is not the truth.
Well, who relates Q to Jew?
Oh, a lot of people do.
Well, of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
See it on the chance.
Well, a lot of people think that the coup originated with Israel. And if Israel is the one that... Well, they did approach Papadopoulos in, I think it was Jerusalem, and offered him $10,000 and said, just take this. And he's like, what? Why do you want me to take 10 grand? And so as soon as he got it, he gave it to his lawyer. And his lawyer said, don't you dare fucking bring this anywhere. This is like trackable marked cash you just got. And as soon as he flew back to Chicago, the FBI picked him up before he got to customs because taking 10 grand on a flight is illegal. They wanted to lock him down and plant him with a crime. and Israel was the one to operate it. I don't care. I don't need this topic to go towards the Jew. Trust me, I don't care about that. Jewish people are great. You're safe. This is a safe place, Les. Okay? I'm not here to make you offer an opinion about the Jew. I had no idea you were so adverse to me U-turning it. When I listen back to the stream, I'll remember what connection I was trying to make before you got shocked by it. Jews. Yeah, I've heard all that stuff.
Kazarian Mafia, yeah, that's very bad, but whatever.
No, maybe it exists, maybe it doesn't. They can lay out their case. I'll never brandish them, oh, you can't talk about this, you know? Debate it. Remember Ann Widdecombe? When she just went viral? She's like, if you want to deny the Holocaust, you should be free to say it. Bring it out into the daylight where we can destroy it with debate. Oh, but if you drive it underground, it will flourish. You know, so it's like, yeah, we should be talking about that. And I have no desire to. But I had some correlation with, I have people that won't listen to logic about how if you really believe the Jews are in control, it's got to be a very small number. So why would you say all Jews? Right? And it had something to do with people believing en masse on the Q narratives. But I'll find it. I'll fast forward to, like, what are we at? 2 hours and 40 minutes? I'll fast forward to like 2 hours and 30 minutes and find it for you. And I'll message you. I'll DM you.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not that connection. Because that comes from the chants. It's retarded. You can see it on there.
No, I don't think it does. I'm not saying that it does. I was going to make a comparison that had nothing to do with, like, Q being directly linked to Israel or something. It was just like on a totally another level. What?
You should see. You should shoot the Jew shit on the chans. They're trying to cut them down.
Oh, really?
You know, when they, yeah, it's bad.
Oh, okay.
It's that whole conspiracy. I don't even know how it goes. I don't even give a shit. I just go on there for the good memes.
Oh yeah.
I used to go on there back to look on some intel, but there's nothing there anymore.
But you don't know if you're getting, like, one thing people need to keep in mind in regards to Q is the bad guys have one advantage. They know everything they did, and they know they can admit to stuff that they know you can't prove. Okay, so they can send you barking up a tree they know you'll never get up. And meanwhile, the trees that you could get them by barking up go unbarked. They're barkless.
Exactly. That's exactly.
So that's the danger of Q to me.
I get it.
You know?
I get it.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, I know.
I love that a PPC Patriot Jam Night is about Q, because it's kind of important. A lot of PPC people are prone to Q-isms. Yep. And they're amazing people. I would trust them to babysit my kids. Okay? Mm-hmm. I know that they're extremely moral. And it's almost like their morals have been hijacked and misused by Brennan and the CIA ops, because it makes them bark up that tree that you'll never get them. This is the connection. So when I talk to my friends about Jews... and how they're not all to be branded, I say, you won't solve the problem. If they control Wall Street and the Rothschild World Bank, you're not going to solve the problems on Wall Street by going to Wall Street and looking at a building and go, send out Mr. Rothschild! We've got a score to settle! You know? So you're not going to solve it that way. You're going to get bad people by pursuing the mundane corruption. And then the mundane corruption will lead up the chart. And when you have a Department of Justice that isn't compromised and offers a deal to Kleinsmith, who was part of the Russiagate coup, who forged an email for Carter Page. So instead of him working with the CIA, it made it look like, oh, he's never worked with the CIA. He just has Russian contacts because, you know, we're very suspicious of him. Right? So they lied to a FISA court judge by altering an email that Carter Page, that the FBI had said, yes, he's an asset that we use and the CIA use to spy on Russians. So they used Carter Page's connections with the Russians that he was doing in service to the United States and said, no, he's just got these connections that are very fucking suspicious, so let us spy on all of Trump world. So doing that, poisoning the well like that, is something that is somehow connected to our Q discussion. I don't remember now how. But where did I tangent off to Carter Page?
Carter Page?
Do you know Carter Page? Sorry,
yeah.
I went on a big tangent on Russiagate there.
You did.
And
yeah, you did.
It's important, though. And
No, it was all good, but you fucked off a long ways from where I was at.
Yeah, so go back to where you were at then, and I'll remember. Oh, it was saying that you won't find the bad guys by going after pedophile rings. Okay, you'll find low-level bad guys, but you won't find Hillary Clinton at the end of that rainbow. And they know that. They fucking know that. So that's the connection. So You chase them for the mundane, boring corruption, and you'll still round up all the same criminals that you would normally not get if you're trying to shoot a hole in the floor at Comet Pizza.
Or it'll come in one big shot.
Yeah,
that's true. That's the way I see it. It's either mundane bullshit or it's gonna go like, holy fuck, boys, it's all done, and then we all go back to normal.
Yep.
That's the only way I see it. Other than that, it's complete torture from now on.
No, I hear you, man. It's we're gonna wake up or we're going to perish, and we won't perish, but our freedoms will perish.
Yeah.
We're already living in an Orwell cage. It's just whether it's permanent or not. That's up for grabs right now.
Welcome to Saskatchewan, Alex.
I know. But while the door's closing on freedom, I feel like we should all be shouting underneath it, going, "Don't accept this! Don't accept this!" You know?
Oh God, no. Oh no, nothing.
You know, and so that's why
absolutely nothing.
You know, getting together and jamming and just staying connected as a group that shares values is pretty important.
Very.
Because people are going to want, when the fire burns their butt, we got to have a boat ready for them to get off Fire Island.
Get out with the Mark groups. Get out with anybody who's doing anything.
You got it, man.
No, fuck no.
And I met with some PPCers downtown Toronto, and they had their act together, and there was this dude, Brad, and Brad was fucking a dynamo. He was one of these behind-the-scenes guys. He wouldn't be doing a lot of, boisterous political chatter, but he would be working the actual political science back end of things, like, here's our ground game here. We've got this fund set up to secure this and this. Like, awesome. He was really working hard, and I've tried to tag him to kind of poke him and be like, hey, bro, there's my old bro. He seems pretty quiet, but I also think he's probably not a social media junkie, right? So he's probably doing real-world stuff and being more productive. That's at least what I'm going to try and reconnect with him, though, and go, like, how's the city game going, bro? Do you need any, like, helping hand on a weekend afternoon where I can bring my children?
He's probably the guy that says, don't fucking talk to me. I'll do my shit.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah. But he's a super nice guy and super friendly. Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. There's other people, too, that I've been really... I've been wanting them to come on board with PPC and be like, guys, you can't keep doing this. You're not going to look like credible patriots soon for cheering for O'Toole. Like, please come over. You're influential. And at one point I got one of them to say, yep, it's PPC, man. I can't keep living this lie. And I'm like, okay, well, let's do it. And then instantly it like got forgotten. I think COVID happened before this person said... on PPC. Then COVID happened, and I think they had like a personal experience with COVID. So they're in that group of like, I'm not going to tell them to not worry about COVID because they've had someone close to them get sick with it. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
Right. So it's like permanently, this is real. China. I do agree that they released a bad flu.
Somebody had the flu.
Look, the Wu flu.
Somebody had the flu.
Yep, I don't know, dude. It's
what type of flu?
Oh, I don't know. It was the respiratory one. It was like the hard breathing and the still lung damage to this day, and you know what I mean. So it was a pretty hard hit, and I know someone who's been hit hard with it too. So I know it's real. I'm just saying we're paying extra attention to people that have gotten very sick, like we never used to do. Right? Like, once you're thinking about buying a red car, you'll see fucking red cars everywhere. You'll be like, where'd all these fucking red cars? Oh, that's right. I want that Mazda 3 that's in red. So you'll see.
And out here, we all figured we had it last December, last January.
Oh, yeah.
We were here hard out here with that big, it was a bad, nasty bitch of a flu. Laid us down 3-4 days fever.
Yep. Same here. I had that one, too. We all had the Wu flu, man.
And then... I asked everybody else, anybody been sick? Nope. Mm-hmm. Nobody's been sick since.
We went through the worst of it when we had no idea.
We went through we were in Weyburn playing hockey there with a kid. And Weyburn was good, Moose Jaw was good. Nobody's been sick since. We're all good.
I know, dude. I know.
I went all summer in my office and I didn't lose a fucking staff. I'm going, you guys ain't sick? No, nothing. They're all mad.
Well, I asked the most important ones. The ones that would have dropped like flies are the Sobeys cashiers. They're meeting hundreds of people a day.
Well,
breathing right on them with the most, contagious virus ever to grace Earth. And I just asked them when I walk in, like the buggy guys spraying the cart, and I'm like, any of you guys been sick? Or it was even before they were doing that. There was no masks anywhere, and I'm like, anyone sick? They're like, nope. It's like, okay, I guess. I think you guys should wear masks. I'm going to be honest, because that was when it could have been 1 in 4 die from this. I'm like, they're saying it's really contagious. I think you should wear masks. I said that to like a couple of them in like March. And then they didn't all die. And I'm like, oh, okay. This isn't like the footage I saw from China where people are screaming in unison from their balconies. I bet after they were done screaming in unison from their balconies, like a big broadcast went into all their phones and said, congratulations, all your digital currency is worth 200% for the next 6 months. And your parents back in the inland will have free rice supplies. You know? I bet they were politically rewarded in their, system.
But that's just retarded. That's just retarded, Alex.
Well, of course it is, but I'm retarded.
All right.
Keeps it interesting.
I gotta go to bed.
So do I, man. So do I. I'm going to head off as well. It's a good note to end it on. It was great talking with you. I'm glad we could have a bit of an argument, too. It keeps it more interesting.
Sure.
Mega Incredible has been a mega incredible chatter. What's your Twitter, dude? We know each other from Twitter, I'm sure. Is this James? Oh, no. I know your Twitter, Les.
Real cool deal.
What, the Mega Incredible is that guy? Anyways, that's cool. But it was great talking to you, bro. We'll have you back on and we'll chat again.
Thanks.
All right, man. Take care, brother.
Yeah, you too.
Bye, PPCers. And Jess and Ross.